Really reconvene the closed session. Do I have a second? Mrs. Maggio, all in favor?
All in favor, motion carried.
Be ready for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Smith for the superintendent's comments.
Good evening. Before giving the superintendent's conference comments, I'd like to call for a moment of silence for the loss of tragic loss of three Plainedge alumni, Gio Bacali, Vincent Cavallari, and Nicholas Rivera. So a moment of silence, please. Pray for these individuals as well as their families. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who volunteered their time at Planet Special Olympics. We have an amazing, we had over 2,500 people. We had over 500 volunteers. Credit goes to Bridget Murphy, Cole Duffy, and a cast of another 30 people. But their leadership led us to where we were. And Mashpee was here, he's afraid, for sure. After seeing what's going on here, he didn't realize the undertaking, and when he said yes, and I know their superintendent for many, many years now. So I told him, obviously, we'll help him out, answer any questions he has. And we're excited for that. Our band students enjoyed participating in music in the parks. We received concert band, excellent third place, wind ensemble, excellent first place, jazz band, excellent first place, jazz band, best overall jazz ensemble, and Joe Altamura, the best jazz vocalist. So congratulations to them and their families. Congratulations, Jessica Cañero, on setting a new school record of 17 feet 7 inches in the long jump. Student council members from Charles E. Schwartz participated in the Bristol Assisted Living Generations Over Lunch program. Students had heartfelt conversations with the residents there about favorite school subjects, hobbies, and more. I commend Principal Thorough and her entire staff for coordinating this. I had the pleasure of being there. If you were listening, have been a fly on the wall to get some of these conversations, you probably would chuckle like I did as well. But these people were genuinely interested in having lunch with these students, and the students really made their day. So compliments to everyone involved. Congratulations, Mr. Shave, on being inducted into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. Plainedge Baseball, all conference champions are currently undefeated. Our young artists showcased their talents at the Spring District Art Show. We have a number of upcoming concerts and such. Please refer to the district calendar for those times and dates. And I'd like to, at this point in time, we are here specifically to recognize an amazing group of people. And I'm going to speak a little bit about that. It's going to be tenure. So if you're not familiar with tenures, I'm going to describe to you a little bit about it. And I'm going to just switch my location. Good evening here, everyone, members of the Board of Education, Central Administration, Plainedge faculty, families, and community members. It is both an honor and a privilege, as your superintendent, to stand before you to recognize a truly meaningful milestone in the professional journey of several of our outstanding educators and staff members. To provide some context, if you're not familiar, New York State has had a teacher tenure law in place since 1917. In 1980, the law was expanded to include all public school administrators, teachers, and teaching assistants. Under the statute, newly hired educators serve a 4-year probationary period during which their performance is closely observed and evaluated through a rigorous and comprehensive review process. Tenure is not granted. It is earned. It is a significant professional accomplishment conferred by the Board of Education only upon the recommendation of your superintendent. It reflects sustained excellence, professionalism, and commitment to the students and families we serve on a daily basis. Here in Plainedge, we hold our educators and staff to the highest standards We expect exceptional instructional practices will be implemented in all classes, unwavering integrity, and an ongoing dedication to continuous growth. Each individual is a lifelong learner, and being recommended for tenure this evening has not only have they met these standards, they have exceeded them by far. Across the U.S. today, there's over 3.7 million teachers working in public schools. Tonight, we honor a small but extraordinary group of professionals who have distinguished themselves among them. They have earned the right to be called tenured members of the Plain Edge Public Schools team. It is with great pride and full confidence that I formally recommend the following individuals for the board for tenure this evening for their exemplary performance, their deep care of our students, and their unwavering dedication to our mission. And I'm going to read through a list of names. So I appreciate your patience. We have a lot of people that are going to be recognized today. We'll start off at what we call the district office level. Mrs. Samantha Carvasello, and Curriculum Associate Teresa McCarthy, Assistant Business Administrator. At Plain Edge High School, John Dominguez, Tracy Myers. At Plain Edge Middle School, Jane D. Girolamo, Alexandra Duca, Brenna Vent, Jennifer Flaherty. At East Plain Elementary School, Kathleen Coffey Cantalmo, Karen Fay, Anderson O'Keefe, Emily San Martino. Charles E. Schwarting Elementary School, Jenna Peroni, Haley Joyce, Christina Lazarus, Kevin Pastier, Eden Fuchs. John H. West Elementary School, Danielle Sava, Alexis Stoller, Nicole Das, Shannon Scarano, and Anne Marie Verdi. Can we get a big round of applause for them? Begin to recognize each one of these individuals. I'd like to invite PFT President, Mr. Perry Fuchs, to the podium to offer his remarks and extend the congratulations of our faculty family. Thank you, Mr. Fuchs.
Good crowd tonight. Thank you, Dr. Selena, Board of Education, fellow PFT members. Congratulations, very exciting. As Dr. Selena said, tenure is granted by the Board of Education, and for those who aren't aware, it's not a job for life. In the news, a lot of times we hear tenure is a job for life. Nothing could actually be further from the truth. It's simply the right to due process on your job. This right is actually granted to all public employees of New York State, cops, firefighters, sanitation workers, clerical, nurses. Anyone who works for the state has the opportunity to earn a permanent position or tenure. Teachers, as it turns out, have the longest probationary period of any job in New York State that grants tenure. It is a long and arduous process, and our teachers and teaching assistants tonight have worked tirelessly over the last 4 years to reach this milestone. So big congratulations to them. Now, to my fellow PFT members who are earning tenure tonight, this is just the beginning. It's your responsibility to now keep up all the hard work that got you to this point in time. If you do that, I promise you, you will have an incredibly rewarding and enjoyable career. And at the very least, our students deserve nothing less than the dedication that you provided to them for the last 4 years. Again, on behalf of almost 350 teachers and teaching assistants that I represent and our union represents, thank you so much. Enjoy tonight's ceremony.
This time, I'd like to invite our board president, Mr. Beiruti, to the front of the room to join me in presenting flowers to our recipients. I'd like Mr. Fuchs to return back quickly. As each name is called, I'll invite their respective central administrator or building principal to the front of the room to share their thoughts and reflections about the staff member from their school or department. I thank all of our amazing administrators in advance for their hard work with recommending these individuals to me for their consideration and ultimately the board's approval. Let us take this opportunity to celebrate the achievements, the journey, and the future of these remarkable individuals and professionals. This is a proud moment for them, the families that join you here as well this evening, and the entire planners community. Thank you very much. When we have recognized all staff members receiving tenure this evening, there'll be a short intermission for some light snacks and an opportunity to take pictures with family and friends. We will then reconvene our meeting following that. It'll be a 10-minute intermission. At this time, I'd like to ask Dr. Dave Paola, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction, to join me at the podium. And she will also be joined here by Ms. Samantha Cartasolo to join us at the podium as well.
It's an absolute privilege to be here tonight to recognize and celebrate a remarkable educator, leader, and colleague, Samantha Cartasella, as we officially grant her tenure in her role as Curriculum Associate for Math, Science, Technology, and Research. Tenure is not just a milestone, it's a recognition of excellence, consistency, and lasting impact. And Samantha has brought all of those qualities and more to her role. From her days as a high school math teacher and assistant principal in New York City Public Schools to her work here supporting curriculum and instruction across disciplines, she has never stopped pushing herself and those around her to learn something new and think deeper, work smarter, and aim higher. Samantha is very dedicated and hardworking professional. In her current role, she's been instrumental in guiding the rollout and implementation of the next generation learning standards, not only in mathematics, but in science, computer science, and digital literacy, and not to mention all the other interdisciplinary work that we do pre-K through 12. These shifts aren't easy, but Samantha leads with calmness and ensures that the work is not only technically sound, but also meaningful to those doing it. She's also deeply committed to professional development, not just for our staff, but for herself as well. She's presented at conferences, facilitated collaborative learning across buildings, and found creative ways to support educators at all levels. Her approach is thoughtful and strategic, always balancing structure with flexibility, because she knows that great teaching doesn't come from a script, but from collaboration and support. Samantha also makes an impact in our community events. She assists in leading the STREAM team with me in our dynamic student and family experiences like a STREAM night, student robot connection, edge events, and many more, as well as volunteering and creating games for the Special Olympics over the last 2 years. These events don't just showcase learning, they build joy, community, and confidence in our students and families. This past year, the STREAM team was especially excited to welcome their newest little member, Emerson, aka Emmy, as she made her debut, and is here, right there, this year. And it's no surprise that Samantha's strength, independence, and warmth have carried over both in her work life and her home life. As Ralph Waldo Emerson stated, "Do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a track." You see what I did there? This quote reflects the heart of Samantha's work. She does not simply follow what's been done. She forges new paths and doesn't do something just because that's the way it's always been done before, both at work and home. She leads in helping shaping curriculum, create programs, and build learning experience that didn't exist before. And in doing so, she's leaving a trail for others to follow. Whether at work or home, Samantha is successful. And of course, we can't forget her love of baking with sourdough, which were goodies in meetings, which she needs to get back to. Samantha puts the same care, attention, and intention into baking that she does with her professional work. She knows that with the right ingredients, time to rise, and a little flexibility, amazing things can happen. Samantha, tonight we recognize not only your achievements, but your dedication and work ethic to Plano schools. We are proud to grant you tenure and an honor to continue learning and growing with you.
This time, I would ask Mr. Perazzo, Assistant Superintendent for Business, to please join me at the podium. And also, I will ask that Ms. Teresa McCarthy join us at the podium as well. I know Peter's going to speak about Teresa, but Teresa and I have been together for a very long time. And Teresa has had multiple roles throughout the years, and she's always done an incredible job and come back. The kids going to get sex. I took a speech now, and that's okay. And I had to say something because I want to thank her family for allowing her to work with us all. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's both an honor and a true pleasure to stand before you tonight to celebrate and recognize the tenure of someone who has become an indispensable part of the Plainedge Public Schools family. Our Assistant Business Administrator, Teresa McCarthy. It's refreshing and rare to find someone whose dedication, diligence, and quiet excellence form the backbone of so much that we do. Tonight, we honor a professional whose journey with Plainedge spans a full decade, 10 years of unwavering commitment, growth, and service to our students, staff, and community. Her path through our district is a testament to both her versatility and a deep-rooted work ethic. She began as a part-time district clerk and eventually into school administration with a sharp eye for detail and a quiet sense of responsibility. Over the years, she's taken on roles of district clerk, purchasing agent, assistant district clerk, treasurer, and currently serves as the assistant business administrator. And in each of those positions, she brought not only competence, but care, ensuring that every task, no matter how big or small, was completed with precision and pride. Now, I know that we're a school district, but indulge me for a moment with a baseball analogy. You see, this remarkable administrator reminds me of none other than Pete Rose, excluding the gambling issues, of course. While Pete Rose may be remembered for many things, what he truly set him apart in the field was his versatility. He played first base, second base, third base, outfield, and of course catcher. Wherever his team needed him, he played. He didn't chase the spotlight, he chased the win. And just like Pete Rose, our honoree has never been one to chase titles. Instead, she's gone wherever Plainedge needed her most. She learned the role, elevated it, and moved forward with all the best interests of the team in mind. That kind of adaptability is rare. The kind of loyalty and quiet leadership is truly priceless. Her academic achievement speaks volumes: Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration, Master's of Business Administration, Advanced Certificate in School Building Leadership and District Leadership. With that level of expertise, she could have gone anywhere, but she chose Plainedge to call home. She chose us, and for 10 years, to make Plainedge a better place. Outside the workplace, she finds joy in what matters most, her family, whether she's visiting her daughter Rita in Ohio, who's attending Wright University, or hosting her son Mikey and his friends, providing unlimited chicken wings and snacks while they gather at Teresa's home to watch sporting events, or traveling with her husband. She brings the same warmth and dedication to a personal life that she does to our district. So tonight, we celebrate more than just a milestone. We celebrate 10 years of integrity, professionalism, and growth. We celebrate an individual who has earned every bit of this tenure through hard work and modesty. We are proud to call her our Assistant Business Administrator, and we're even more grateful to call her our colleague and friend. Congratulations on this well-deserved achievement. At this time, I'd like to invite Ms. Lauren Ioko, high school principal, to join me at the podium. And I'd also like to invite Mr. John Dominguez to join me at the podium as well.
John has been looking forward to standing up here awkwardly all night as a joke. So he's really excited. I made an extra long dress for him. It is my absolute pleasure to recommend John Dominguez for tenure. At the end of this year, John will have completed his third year here as a full-time social studies teacher, as he already earned tenure for his 6 years of service in the New York City Department of Education at Richmond Hill. John, in his time here, has had a huge impact on our students, our school culture, and our wider community. John is a proud Long Island native who grew up right behind Papalardo, so it was destined that he would work at Plainedge. From day one, John has been an educator who leads with his heart, purpose, and a relentless focus on student growth and empowerment. In the classroom, he is a model of innovation excellence. Over his summer, he decided to do professional development on project-based learning and implement this in his classroom, which is no easy task. After attending the PBL, he implemented it with his AP class, taking a risk to see the results. You know, also it's October in his classroom when all the students start carrying pumpkins because they have a project where they decorate them, representing different points in history. He engages the students through Socratic seminar, holding them accountable to high standards by teaching them to listen, question, and defend their ideas, a skill that will transcend beyond high school. His approach works. Just look at his results. In AP History, 90% of his students earn a 3 or higher. Both John's contributions go far beyond the classroom. He's a cornerstone of our extracurricular and academic community. He serves as an advisor for the Ethics Bowl, the Quiz Bowl, and plays a role in our research program. He even spends his times in the weekend at Rocky DU and doing other events here at the high school. He writes curriculum for our advisory program, and as our advisory committee decided, as the little man on the totem pole, he wrote every grade. And serves on the advisory committee, ensuring that students are supported academically and emotionally. Not only that, in all of his other free time, he also is behind Planet TV, making sure that everyone can see the amazing events happening at the school, both here and beyond if they cannot make it. He helped organize Toys for Tots with Vinnie's Army. He assisted in making Santa videos for children in our district, and he plays in the Harlem Wizards game as he is an avid athlete. He gives 110% to everything he does. He also presents and represents Planet at conferences such as ASSET and BET, the BASH conference, putting us on the regional stage. He shows up for events in Sports Day, Battle of the Classes, which he was very into this year, Prom, and We Make a Difference Awards tomorrow night, just plugging it for everyone, and always with the same enthusiasm and commitment that he brings to his daily teaching. Congratulations, John, and I want to thank his family, his wife, his dog who couldn't be here tonight, and colleagues who have supported and inspired him along the way. It is with great confidence that I recommend John for tenure.
Tracy Myers is unable to join us this evening, and her principal is going to speak about it.
It is an absolute honor to recommend Tracy for tenure as a teaching assistant. Throughout her time at the high school, she has consistently proven herself to be an invaluable member of our community. To truly understand who Tracy is, let me share a recent story. I asked her the other day if she was excited for tonight. She looked surprised and said she wasn't even sure what was being referenced. That moment speaks volumes about her character. But she told me she was worrying about a million other things, her daughter graduating, making sure students do well on AP exams, because she doesn't think about herself or seek recognition. She's too busy thinking about everyone, her family, her colleagues, and everyone around her. That selfishness is at the core of everything she does. When you talk to her colleagues, they describe her as a chameleon, flexible, adaptable, and able to thrive in any environment. She works seamlessly with all types of curricula, whether in Spanish class, a science class, or a 913 special education setting. Her ability to jump into any lesson, build quick rapport with students, and become an essential part of the classroom is impressive. She's also in high demand and fought over by the teachers to be in their classrooms. When you speak to the World Language Department, they talk about Tracy as if she's a member of their department. She's been in their classroom and has picked up Spanish, and they say she can even teach the class. She ensures that all students get the support they deserve, and she takes time to understand each student's individual needs and make sure that their accommodations are not only followed through, but honored. Beyond the school day, you'll find Tracy chaperoning multiple after-school events and cheering on her students. She brings the same care, warmth, and strength she gives her own family into work every single day. It's no surprise that all her compassion, patience, and dedication come so naturally, but it's the true reflection of who she is. Tracy, on behalf of the students, your colleagues, and the entire school, we want to thank you for everything you bring to the classroom. Congratulations.
This time, I'd like to invite middle school principal, Mr. Anthony DeRiso, to join me at the podium, and also Ms. Jane D. Girolamo.
Good evening, everyone. I am pleased to recommend for tenure Jane DiGiolamo, a teaching assistant at our middle school. Over the past several years, Jane has been a consistent presence in our classroom, supporting our students and staff. I've observed her willingness to step in where needed, assisting with daily tasks and contributing to a positive learning environment. While I might not know Jane as deeply as some of her direct colleagues might, I've seen enough to recognize her reliability and her dedication. She's punctual, approachable, and works well alongside our teachers to the benefit and support of her students, helping to keep them focused and motivated. She provides a steady hand, someone who does what's asked without fanfare, which is really a most valuable quality. Thank you. I'm confident she'll continue to support our students and our school effectively. Congratulations, and here's to many more successful years here in Plano.
At this time, I would invite Ms. Alexandra Duca, please join us.
Alexandra Duke is sixth grade math and science teacher. As the principal of Plainedge Middle School, I am thrilled to honor Alexandra as I recommend her for tenure here tonight for Superintendent of the Board of Education. For 2 years, she spent her first 2 years at West with Mr. Maizano, who gave me nothing but glowing recommendations, and she has fulfilled every one of those. She shined as a sixth grade math and science teacher, leaving a lasting mark on our school. Initially uncertain about teaching middle school math, Alexandra had leaned toward literature. However, the dedication turned that hesitation into a gift. Her well-organized classroom fosters a peaceful, productive environment, and she has adeptly embraced new science and math curricula with creativity. What truly sets Alexandra apart is her remarkable connection with students. Her warmth and approachability make her a trusted mentor, inspiring them daily. Colleagues too treasure her. She brings a collaborative spirit and positivity that brightens our building every day. Her recent work with the Sunshine Committee highlights her devotion to our school spirit. Please join me in celebrating Alexandra Duca on this richly deserved milestone. We look forward to continued brilliance at Plainedge Middle School.
Invite Ms. Brenna Vent to join us in the front.
Eighth grade social studies, well deserved, Brenna. From the jump, Brenna has been one of the most dynamic, dedicated, and energetic teachers in the middle school. Her dedication and energy are evident as year in and year out, she has been a favorite amongst her students. On a daily basis, Brenna creates lessons that are varied, exciting, and keep children engaged. Although a wonderful teacher, her dedication goes well beyond her planning, as Brenna is most famous for her classroom decor. Coordinated bins, posters, LED lights, hanging globes, and an actual neon sign. You have to see this place. It's like walking into Disney's It's a Small World. But here's the thing, it's all geared at motivating even the sleepiest Monday morning student. If teaching were an Olympic sport, and I mean this, Brenna would take home the gold, the silver, and bronze, and probably have a themed bulletin board for each of them. Thank you for making learning an adventure and your classroom such an incredibly happy place. Disney's got nothing on you, Brenna. Congratulations on your well-deserved tenure.
This time, I'd like to invite Ms. Jennifer Flaherty to the front podium.
I just have to say, it really is a pleasure to speak on behalf of these teachers and teaching assistants. And I say this all the time. I'm really blessed to be the principal of such an incredible school. It's not only these teachers we honor here tonight, but all of the teachers at the middle school, and might I say the entire district, that really make our district a special place. Jen Flaherty is someone who makes our school shine brighter every day. Jen, your recommendation for tenure as a teaching assistant tonight is a testament to the heart and dedication you bring every day. You're not just an excellent teaching assistant, you're a lifeline for our teachers and a beacon for our students. Teachers request the opportunity to work with you all the time. I think you know that. They practically line up and ask for you. And it's no wonder your hard work, your kindness, and readiness to help are unmatched. You always seem to say yes with a smile, no matter the task. And it's your love for our kids that truly sets you apart. You have a way of making every student feel seen, heard, and valued. If we could, we'd clone you, Jen, though two of you might make the rest of us look bad. I want to congratulate you on this well-earned milestone, and here's to many, many more years of your wonderful impact at our school. Congratulations.
This time, I would ask East Plain Elementary School Principal, Mr. Mark Cocorelli, to please join us at the podium. We'll also ask Mr. Kathleen Coffey Cantelmo to please join us.
Good evening, everyone. It is my absolute pleasure to honor and recognize Mrs. Katie Cantelmo for her 10-year achievement. As our literacy coach, Katie has truly been a cornerstone of our academic success, and we are so fortunate to have her as part of our school community at East Plain. When I think about the qualities that define Katie, a few words immediately come to mind: dedication, collaboration, innovation, and above all, a deep love for helping both scholars and teachers succeed. Whether it's in the classroom, at our school drama performances, or behind the scenes supporting our staff, Katie has been a guiding force in so many aspects of our school community. One of the most significant contributions Katie has made is her leadership in the rollout of the U-Fly Phonics program. This program is essential in providing our youngest learners with the foundational skills they need to become strong, confident readers. She not only helped implement this program, but she provided ongoing support and professional development for our teachers to ensure that it's being used effectively. Thanks to her efforts, we have seen a real improvement in our students' phonics skills. In addition, her work as our literacy coach, Katie is an integral part of our school's drama club as one of the assistant directors. Her creativity, enthusiasm, and ability to bring out the best in our scholars was on full display this year as she helped students prepare for their performance in The Wizard of Oz Jr. Another area where Katie has made a significant impact is in supporting our scholars and teaching during New York State testing. She is my right-hand woman, and it would not have run smooth without her help. A program that has become a beloved tradition in our school is the Book of the Month program, which Katie leads with enthusiasm and creativity. Every month, scholars and teachers are introduced to a new book that helps build literacy skills and ties into our monthly character trait. The Book of the Month program has brought our school together, sparking meaningful conversations among students. Finally, what truly sets Katie apart is the incredible support she provides to our teachers on a daily basis. Whether it's helping plan lessons, providing resources, or offering strategies for differentiated instruction, or simply being a sounding board for new ideas and challenges, Katie is a constant presence of support. We are incredibly lucky to have you here and look forward to many more years of working together to inspire, challenge, and support the East Plain scholars. Congratulations on your well-deserved tenure, and thank you for everything you do.
I'd like to invite up Ms. Karen Fay at this time.
Today, I have the pleasure of celebrating an incredible milestone for someone who has not only been an integral part of our school, but also a guiding light in the hearts and minds of the East Plains Scholars. It is with great pride that we recognize Ms. Karen Fay, our amazing librarian, as she celebrates this important tenure achievement. When I think of Karen, what comes to mind is a deep passion for fostering a love of reading, a genuine commitment to the East Plains Scholars' growth, and a tireless dedication to making the library a warm, welcoming place for everyone, and turning me into many different creative things like gingerbread cookies and pumpkins and many more things that I probably don't even know that she turns me into each day. Over the past 4 years, Karen has transformed our library from just a room full of books into a dynamic hub of creativity, curiosity, and community. She has given our scholars the tools to dream big, explore new worlds, and develop the kind of lifelong love for reading that will serve them well far beyond these walls. Many of you may know that Mrs. Fay has been the heart and soul of our school's drama club. Her work with the fifth graders in this program has been nothing short of extraordinary. Whether it's guiding students through the process of putting on a play or helping them find their voices on stage, she has shown our scholars the power of storytelling and creativity. Another initiative that speaks to Mrs. Fay's unwavering commitment to student success is the Planet Summer Reading Program. Every year, she spearheads this program, ensuring that all elementary scholars stay engaged with books during the summer months. It's not just about keeping skills sharp, it's about nurturing that love of reading, so our scholars return in the fall excited to share the books they've read and the worlds they've explored. As part of the Parents as Reading Partners program, Mrs. Fay has worked tirelessly to bring families together to support and celebrate reading. She's created fun theme days, organized author visits, and launched fun challenges that engage both scholars and their families. And let's not forget about the excitement of March Book Madness, which has become an annual tradition here at East Plains. Mrs. Fay, along with Ms. CR, have grown this over the past few years to be a school-wide tradition that engages students in a friendly book bracket competition where they vote for their favorite books in various categories. Above all, what truly makes Ms. Fay stand out is the incredible welcoming environment that she has created in the library. Congratulations on your tenure, and here's to many more years of inspiring the next generation of readers and storytellers. Thank you for everything that you do.
This time, I invite Ms. Anderson O'Keefe to join us at the podium.
It is my absolute pleasure to stand before you tonight and recognize an educator whose presence in our school has been nothing short of extraordinary. We're here to celebrate a well-deserved milestone in the career of someone who embodies everything we hope for in a teacher: compassion, dedication, and a deep love for learning. Please join me in congratulating Ms. Andy O'Keefe, our beloved first grade teacher, on earning tenure. From the moment Ms. O'Keefe stepped into her classroom, it was clear that she was more than an instructor. She was a caregiver, a motivator, and a mentor. Her classroom is a place where students feel safe, valued, and understood. With a voice full of warmth and eyes that see the best in every child, she creates an environment where curiosity is encouraged, mistakes are embraced as learning moments, and kindness is practiced daily. Andy is the type of teacher who takes time to truly know each of her students, not just how they learn, but who they are. Her relationships with students extend far beyond academics. They are built on trust, consistency, and genuine care. And the same is true for the families she serves. But Ms. O'Keefe doesn't stop at reading groups and classroom routines. She also challenges our scholars to stretch their thinking beyond grade level expectations. As the Math Olympiad advisor, she brings her passion for problem solving to a new level, helping students build perseverance, critical thinking, and a true love for mathematics. It is also worth noting that Andy's dedication to the well-being of others extends beyond the classroom. Her passion for self-care, she has led multiple workshops through the Teacher Center, providing her colleagues with valuable tools for managing stress and maintaining balance in their lives. In addition, her work within the classroom, in addition to the work within the classroom and with her peers, Andy has also served as the breast cancer fundraiser captain for the PFT, where her commitment to raising awareness and supporting the cause has been truly inspiring. In every way, Andy represents what we mean when we talk about the heart of elementary education. Her kindness radiates through every interaction, her patience is unwavering, and her impact is both measurable and immeasurable. Andy, your work has touched the lives of countless children and families. We are so grateful to have you as part of the East Plain Elementary team for many years to come. Congratulations on this important achievement. Thank you for everything you do.
This time I invite Ms. Emily Sammartino to join us at the podium.
I should have brought my water up. It is my pleasure to stand before you tonight to celebrate a remarkable educator whose talent, passion, and commitment have truly enriched the heart of our school community. This evening, we proudly recognize Ms. Emily Sammartino, our dedicated instrumental music teacher, who has not only inspired our young musicians, but it also helped shape the cultural fabric of East Plain Elementary. Tonight, we celebrate her well-earned achievement of tenure, a milestone that reflects years of exceptional service, meaningful relationships, and lasting impact. When we talk about what makes a great teacher, we often think of someone who educates, inspires, and elevates others. And Ms. Sammartino does all of that and more. Her classroom is not just a place where scales are learned or notes are practiced. It is a vibrant, welcoming space where students find their voice, grow their confidence, and discover the power of music. She even tried to teach me clarinet, but I did drop out. From the first day Ms. Sammartino joined our team, she has poured her heart into building a strong, inclusive, and dynamic music program. She leads not just one, but two of our most beloved ensembles, the junior and senior orchestra and band. Under her guidance, these young musicians go from learning the basics of breath control and bowing technique to performing in full ensemble with poise and pride. In addition, every March, Ms. Sammartino leads one of the most celebrated events in our school calendar, Music in Our Schools Month. This isn't just a concert series, it's a school-wide celebration of creativity and talent. She records each lesson group performing, and each day in March in the East Plain Morning News, we showcase their musical talents. Thanks to Emily, this month-long experience is more than a showcase, it's a tradition that honors the hard work, courage, and artistic voice of every student involved. And speaking of excellence, Emily also prepares our scholars for NYSSMA, the New York State School Music Association. Her preparation is meticulous and personalized, helping the scholars grow not only in their technical skill, but in self-assurance. Whether performing for a NYSSMA adjudicator or applying for enrichment opportunities outside our school, our young musicians are always ready because Ms. Sammartino believed in them and prepared them with care. But her commitment doesn't just stop at the podium or the rehearsal room. As assistant director of our school drama club, Ms. Sammartino lends her talents behind the scenes and on stage, from coordinating sound and music to mentoring cast members. She helps bring our performances to life and creates memories our scholars will never forget. In every role, Emily exemplifies the values we hold dear at East Plain: dedication, creativity, and teamwork, and a deep belief in the potential of every child. So tonight, we say thank you, Ms. Sammartino, for your commitment to your students, your contributions to our community, and your belief in the transformative power of music. Congratulations on your well-deserved tenure, and thank you for everything you do.
This time, I would ask Charles E. Schwinning Elementary School Principal, Ms. Jennifer Thurl, to join me at the podium. I'd also ask Ms. Jenna Maroney to please join us as well.
It is an honor to stand here today to celebrate Ms. Jenna Peroni as she receives tenure, an achievement that reflects a profound and lasting impact on her students, colleagues, and school community. Jenna meets each day with patience, positivity. She is nurturing and mindful in every sense of the word, guiding students with a gentle hand and an open heart, always ready with encouragement, always believing in their best. Soft-spoken, steady, Jenna doesn't raise her voice ever to be heard. Sometimes I can't even hear her. Her calm presence creates a classroom where children feel safe, seen, and supported. Her dedication goes beyond the school bell. Whether it's working with colleagues to fine-tune her craft or finding the just right book for a reluctant reader, Jenna puts her whole heart into her work. Tenure is a recognition that Jenna has built something worth continuing. And we are grateful that she will keep bringing her spirit, her warmth, care, and unwavering belief in the potential of every child into our school for so many years to come. Congratulations, Jenna. You've earned this with love, grace, and quiet strength.
This time I invite Ms. Haley Joyce to join us at the podium and speak on her behalf. We'll be speaking on the
Before I start speaking about the lovely Miss Joyce, I just wanted to thank and congratulate all of the other educators and teaching assistants that have been getting tenured this evening. So many of them touch the special education department and special education students in so very many ways. We are so excited for all of you and grateful for all that you've done in your path leading up to this very exciting evening. Now for Miss Joyce. So when Miss Joyce just walked up here, I said, oh my goodness, finally, she's getting tenure. Miss Joyce joined us way back in 2019 as a teaching assistant, and she has stuck with Plain Edge for all of those years. She spent her time as a teaching assistant and moved around to a couple of different locations, and then she proceeded to be in a few leave replacements, and then luckily enough for us, we were starting to expand our special education department to include full-day integrated co-teaching at our elementary level. Miss Joyce was a definite yes from the second she walked into her interview. Kindergarten is a very special place. And if I could say anything about Miss Joyce, it is that she is the quintessential amazing, patient, kind, fantastic, energetic teacher that is perfect for kindergarten. Our students come in babies with sometimes some very nervous parents, worried about how their children are going to do away from home for the first time in a full day. And she takes them and makes them into amazing students that are ready to learn and so excited to be in her classroom. As a special education teacher, Miss Joyce has a unique role in the fact that she also has a lot of parent contact. She has to ease some of their fears about sending their children off to kindergarten, and she gets to know each and every one of her students in such a unique way that it makes them grow tremendously over the year that she has them. I cannot think of a better kindergarten teacher to have with us for the rest of your career, hopefully. Miss Joyce recently got engaged, which is also extremely exciting. As you can tell, she loves the beach, so she's already got her nice golden tan going already. And I can tell you that she is the type of person that you all wish your child had as a kindergarten teacher. The The last time I did an observation in her room, she actually had full life-size bowling going on, which I don't know about any of you, but if you had to have 20 kindergartners doing life-size bowling and still somehow make that an educational experience and a success, you understand what she comes to bring to Plain Edge every single day. I am beyond honored that you are part of our special education team, and we are so lucky to have you here in Plain Edge, hopefully for the rest of your career. Congratulations on your well-deserved, hard-earned tenure.
Ms. Christina Lazarus, please join us at the podium.
When I sat down today to think about Miss Lazarus, formerly Miss Lindsay, there were so many things that came to mind about her as an educator and a person. When we conduct interviews for the special education department, we're very often asked what it is that we're looking for in a successful candidate. And if I could paint a picture of Miss Lazarus when I replied to the candidates that are looking to work here, I think it would be a perfect example of what we are looking for. We stole Miss Lazarus from down the block a few years ago. And one of the things that made us so sure that we wanted her to be a part of her team was not only her dedication to very young minds, but the fact that she was incredibly versatile. And we have put that versatility to the test while she was here with us. Christina has jumped through every hoop we have put in front of her and excelled at every single placement we have put her in, from integrated co-teaching to now our 12-1-2 classroom. I can speak from experience that when you walk into Miss Lazarus's classroom, all of the students are actively engaged. You can almost always hear a pin drop because it is so organized. The students are so respectful to each other. They are so excited about whatever it is they're doing with Miss Lazarus and her support staff that the classroom just seems to go seamlessly. We are beyond lucky that you have been able to do that in every placement that we have put you in. On top of that, Miss Lazarus is very active in our school community. We have seen her go from Miss Lanza to Miss Lazarus. And she's always been an active member of the special education department. She shares her wealth of information with all of her colleagues. She is a resource for all of us to go to. She is always, always, always willing to jump in and do anything that we need, like at Special Olympics, where we used everybody, to do anything that we could ever possibly need. But I think the most important part about Miss Lazarus is that she holds her children, her students in her heart. And you can see that with every student that comes in contact with her. I am so excited that you decided to take the leap from down the block and join us here, and that you have rose to every single challenge we have put you through in any way that we have ever asked. You are amazing and wonderful. Congratulations on your well-deserved tenure.
At this time, I'd like to invite Mr. Kevin Pastier to the podium.
Today, we are here to celebrate a major milestone for a true MVP on our team, Mr. Kevin Pastia, who has officially earned his tenure. Kevin is the kind of educator who makes learning feel like game day, exciting, engaging, and full of energy. Whether he's coaching his lacrosse team or walking his students through a tricky math problem, Kevin brings the same passion, patience, and playbook to both the field and the classroom. And anyone who can keep 8-year-olds focused all day and then spend his afternoons coaching lacrosse all afternoon at the high school is more than dedicated to children of all ages. Kevin is a loyal Dallas Cowboys fan. His classroom is Dallas Cowboy themed. I guess I can forgive him for that, seeing that I'm a Jets fan, not much better. We do have something in common with that, though. I wasn't alive for the Jets' last Super Bowl win, and you aren't alive for the last Cowboy win. Like the Cowboys, Kevin never stops striving. He shows up with confidence and is always ready to rally his team, win or lose. We lose a little more than we win with the football part. He's the teacher who volunteers for school events without hesitation and is always willing to support his teammates. Kevin is the kind of colleague who makes our school feel like a true team. Someone who brings laughter, dedication, and how can I help you attitude to everything he does. Kevin, congratulations on earning your tenure. You've worked hard and you've led with heart, and we're lucky to have you on our team.
This time I'd like to invite Stephen Fuchs to the front room.
It is my absolute pleasure to take a moment to recognize someone truly special, Eden Fuchs, our wonderful teaching assistant who is receiving tenure. Eden is one of those rare people who brings calm, kindness, and compassion into every space she enters. With her soft-spoken nature and gentle approach, she creates an environment where every child feels safe, seen, and valued. Her patience is endless. And her dedication to her students, I'm just saying. And her dedication to her students shines through in everything she does. Whether she's offering quiet encouragement, coming in early to prepare materials, or simply being a steady presence for a child who needs reassurance, Eden does it all with grace and heart. Her hard work often happens behind the scenes, but its impact is felt every single day in the progress of her students and the smiles she brings to their faces and mine. Eden, thank you for being the bright light in our school and for giving so much of yourself to the children we serve. We are lucky to have you and even luckier to know you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. At this time, I'd like to ask Johnny Twist Elementary School Principal, Mr. Joseph Maizano, to please join us at the podium. And also, we invite Ms. Danielle Saba to join us as well.
I didn't know there'd be so many Danielles in the room this evening. Everyone see her face on all those sticks? I'm trying to embarrass her intentionally. All right. I am very excited to recommend Danielle Saba to receive tenure from the Plain Edge School District. I've been supervising Danielle for many years, as she was originally a teaching assistant at Schwarting when I was Director of Special Education, before getting an opportunity as a lead teacher at John H. West. Mrs. Saba is a compassionate special educator who works diligently to support her students and families in her 913 setting. She does a wonderful job creating a supportive environment within her class, where the students and staff grow to become like a family. Danielle's affect never changes. She is always the calm in the storm, and there's plenty of storms in the environment she works in. Her warm and caring demeanor is a great fit for the setting in which she works, and she leads her team of paraprofessionals so well. Her 913 staff is truly like a family rather than coworkers. They meet the needs of our most needy learners that need us so much each and every day, and our students truly know that they are loved, and so do their families. Danielle is always willing to lend a helping hand. Her colleagues enjoy working with her and know that they can depend on her to work together to do what is best for students always. It is an absolute pleasure to have her on my team at West, and I look forward to working with you for many years to come. Congratulations on your appointment.
At this time, I'd like to invite Ms. Nicole Doss to the podium.
You love the spotlight, come on. Only in front of students, not this many adults. It is with great enthusiasm that I recommend Nicole Doss to receive tenure from the Plain Edge School District. You can get excited. When Nicole interviewed with us 4 years ago, I immediately remembered Nicole from my years teaching at the middle school many moons ago. Who could forget the Doss quadruplets? For those of you that may not know, Nicole is one of 4 girl quadruplets who also have another younger girl sister, God bless her father, as a 5th grade teacher in an integrated co-teaching setting. Ms. Doss works to adapt instruction to meet the diverse needs of the students within her classroom. Nicole truly wears her heart on her sleeve, and she creates wonderful relationships with her students and becomes a trusted individual for those students. Her students are always found going back to her class to say hello from years prior. Nicole works extremely well with her co-teacher who's in the building today, as they spend much time getting to know their students, both academically and personally, to best support them. She keeps extensive data. Joe, look at all this data. It's so much information on every single child. Sometimes I get the picture. So that she can make informed decisions that are data-driven, and that is what we want. I'm just making light of it. Nicole is also a co-advisor for West Student Council, an active participant in the district's character committee that led to our school earning both state and national recognition as a school of character. Thank you for your work on that team. She works the morning and aftercare programs, and along with her co-advisor, also here tonight, from Student Council, they created our Plain Edge Perk, which for those of you that don't know is our inclusive coffee shop that is a big hit at John H. West, where our student council students work with our students in 913 and open a coffee store for our staff and even have deliveries, Uber deliveries, DoorDash, I should say, to their classrooms. It is true, Nicole is always truly willing to help a lending hand, and it's an absolute pleasure having her on my team at West, and I look forward to working with you for many years to come. Congratulations.
This time, I'd like to invite Ms. Shannon Scarano.
It's a long walk. I came from that side of the room too. It is an honor to recommend Shannon Scarano to receive tenure from the Plain Edge School District. Ms. Scarano's kindergarten students are so fortunate to have her for their first official school experience at West. As a kindergarten teacher, Shannon creates an environment that feels like a home away from home for our youngest learners. Her students learn foundational academics, routines, and how to be a good friend, student, and community member, which is sometimes tough for those little guys. She has developed a community within her classroom in which her students feel safe and truly supported. Shannon goes above and beyond in and outside of the classroom. She volunteers for activities and responsibilities beyond the school day and is always willing to lend a helping hand. Ms. Scarano facilitates many after-school and evening continuing education workshops for staff and families. I think she has taught the majority of the West PTA how to cricket. She's like a cricket expert. Shannon is an incredible baker, for those of you that may not know, and her decorative cakes have made their way into the homes of many staff members for parties and celebrations as well. In the classroom and around the school, Shannon is known to be quite tech savvy, and she leverages technology to enhance learning for both her students and colleagues. Although her career has only begun, her calming demeanor and patience are well beyond her years. It's an absolute pleasure having her on my team, and I look forward to working with you for many years to come. Congratulations.
This time I invite Ms. Anne-Marie Verdi to the podium.
It is with great pleasure that I recommend Anne-Marie Verdi, formerly known as Ms. Daniela, to receive tenure from the Plano School District. Mrs. Verdi came to us from Maria Regina School, where I used to bump into her during my time as director. So I was so excited when she came to join my team 4 years ago. Annie is the kind of teacher that you really hope your own child will have in school. And our fifth grade students in particular are so fortunate to have her for that important transition year at West before moving up to the middle school. Annie truly understands the changes that students go through as they mature from immature elementary age students to middle schoolers. And she provides them with the necessary skills to navigate both academics and social interactions with peers. And there's a lot of that social piece in fifth grade. Annie is always willing to lend a helping hand, and she is beloved by her students, families, and colleagues alike. She is just so easy to get along with, if I'm being honest. Mrs. Verdi works extremely hard with her co-teacher in their integrated co-teaching classroom, and together they work to meet the needs of students to ensure that any gaps that they have in learning and skills are appropriately addressed. Although Annie is one of our younger staff members, obviously why we're here tonight, she carries herself as a teacher with decades of experience. It is a pleasure having you on my team at West, and I look forward to many years to come. Congratulations.
At this time, I'd like to invite Ms. Alexa Stoller to join us at the podium.
Tonight, I have the joy and honor of recognizing a truly special educator, Alexa Stoller, as we celebrate the awarding of her tenure as our elementary stream teacher. She had big shoes to fill of her predecessor, especially as a new teacher. And I am happy to be standing here tonight to say that Alexa not only did fill them, but helped enhance this role and team. Her role is unique in so many ways. She teaches not just in the classroom, but in a space that becomes a stage for exploration, innovation, and wonder. And unlike most teachers, she has to do this in front of a live audience of her colleagues, since classes rotate into her stream periods. That takes a lot of skill and confidence, and most of all, it takes heart. Alexa brings all of those every single day. She is sweet, hardworking, and deeply dedicated to her students and her craft. Whether she's introducing a kindergartner to coding or challenging a fifth grader to engineer a solution during a design challenge, her goal is always the same: to spark curiosity, build confidence, and foster joy in learning. Whether introducing young learners to robotics or helping them explore science through design thinking, Alexa creates learning environments that spark curiosity and build confidence. Her stream room is a place of discovery where students are encouraged to tinker, try, collaborate, grow, and take chances. Beyond the classroom, she helps create with the stream team some of our most exciting and successful events, such as Stream Night, which is coming up next week, Edge Events, Student Robot Connection, and many more, transforming stream into an engaging and meaningful experience the whole school community can celebrate together. And while she's giving so much to others, she continues to invest in her own growth as well. She attends and presents at conferences, sharing her work and learning from others in the field. She doesn't just keep up, she stays on the cutting edge of what STEAM education can be in an elementary setting with her teammates. Not to mention, in this role, her newfound love for gardening, as she brings these new experiences to the greenhouse for her students. If you want to know how to keep a palm tree alive all year long, Alexa is our woman. In addition to her role with students, Alexa has taken on numerous responsibilities across the district. She's facilitated adult education classes, including the incredibly popular sessions of cricket design and crafting. And she has taught both in the summer enrichment programs and our STARS enrichment academies, helping learners of all ages explore creativity and technology. And in addition, she volunteered for the 2 years at our Special Olympics. Alexa has the ability to make everything she touches feel thoughtful, intentional, and filled with care. She makes most complex concepts accessible to all students. She turns a room full of wires, codes, and recycled materials into an exciting hub of innovation. And she does this all with a smile and a sense of calm that grounds everyone around her. She reminds us that STREAM isn't just a subject, it's a mindset, one that values experimentation, collaboration, and imagination. And she's teaching our youngest learners to think that way from the very beginning of their educational journey. Alexa, tonight we recognize your excellence, your creativity, and the love that you bring to this work, your students, your colleagues, and your community. Alexa, we know that you love Plain Edge, and we love you. Congratulations on your well-earned tenure, and we're very proud of you.
At this time, I'd ask you to please join us in congratulating these amazing instructional leaders. Thank you for attending our 10-year celebration ceremony this evening. We're going to take a short 10-minute recess. A big round of applause for them.
Saying, were there any?
At this time, that concludes my, superintendent's remarks. I know it was, long-winded, but 22 people, and I appreciate everyone supporting them and recognizing their greatness.
Okay, moving on to routine approvals. A motion to approve the minutes of the March 25th, 2025 Board of Ed meeting. Mr. Garcia, second. Mrs. Maggia, I'm sorry, Mrs. Versace, all in favor?
All in favor, motion carried.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the April 8th, 2025 Board of Ed meeting? Mr. Morrissey, second. Mr. Paris, all in favor?
All in favor, motion carried.
Motion to approve the minutes of the April 23rd, 2025 special meeting. Mrs. Versace, second. Mr. Morrissey, all in favor?
6 in favor, 1 abstaining.
Excuse me, do I have a motion to approve warrant reports 107, 109 to 112, 115, 117 to 118? Mr. Morrissey, second. Mr. Garcia, all in favor?
All in favor, motion carried.
Motion to approve the treasurer's report, March 2025. Mr. Morrissey, second. Mr. Garcia, all in favor?
All in favor, motion carried.
Moving on to discussion, presentations, public hearing of the proposed 2025-2026 budget.
At this time, I would ask Mr. Perazzo to take the mic and to share the information that's required in accordance with New York State education law.
I was Dr. Selena said this is more of a required reading. 2025-2026 budget was adopted by the Board of Education on April 8, 2025. The proposed budget contains a 3.76 budget-to-budget increase and an associated 1.75 tax levy increase. A budget hearing must be held not earlier than 14 days and not later than 7 days before the annual budget vote, which falls on May 20th this year. The budget statement and required attachments must be made available to the public and are available on the district website. The budget must be presented at this hearing in plain language and in 3 components. 3 components are administration, capital, and program in the amounts of $10,663,911, $11,260,902, and $86,068,863 respectively. School budget, the school district budget notice and budget newsletter are in the component format. This hearing is for informational purposes only. No changes in the budget are permitted at this time. Please be advised that the budget presentation and voter information can be found on the district website.
Moving on to item 2, the World of Guidance presentation.
So I thought it was, after speaking with the team in central office, I thought it was important for us to get an understanding of all the programs that encompass the oversight of Mr. Wasserman, as well as fellow administrators, in collaboration with a number of programs that we deliver for our students. So I'd like to thank Mr. Wasserman for joining us this evening, and I look forward to his presentation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Selena, Board of Education, District Central Office, and community. I'm very excited to be here tonight. I'd like to welcome everybody to come back into the cafeteria for this presentation. I'm excited to bring you into the world of guidance. We work very hard to support the entire community in the Plano School District. And it's my pleasure to share with you a cross-section of much of the work that we do. Before I begin, I want to highlight the individuals, the professionals, and the experts that are working to support the student and the families, as well as the faculty here. I'm joined with a few of them here tonight. Miss Alyssa DeTizio, our K-12 counselor. In the middle school, Mr. Andrew Meyer, Miss Melissa Perez-Barry, Miss Danielle Ruccia, and Miss Maureen LeCran, who is a support individual in the office. In the high school, we have Mr. Joseph Como, Ms. Lauren Enriquez, Mr. Michael Cipriano, Ms. Holly Snell Young, Ms. Teresa Cambria, Ms. Randy Di Benedetto, and Ms. Beth Purdy Ronaldo. It's important to highlight here what you see on the screen represents years of expertise, heart, and soul that goes into counseling and supporting the individuality of the students and their needs across this district, K-12. Now, the role of the guidance counselor, while you're seeing here 4 bullet points, we encapsulate so much more than, but at a high level, as a summary, the guidance counselor here in the Plain Edge School District supports academic achievement strategies for all students, helps to support and manage emotions and apply interpersonal skills, plans for all post-secondary opportunities and options for our students, including higher education, military service, trade school, and direct workforce, and I think most importantly, supporting the individual needs of each child and family. That takes multiple forms. In some ways, supports crises that we may or may not be able to anticipate, possibly supporting children on chronic absenteeism and so much more. We talk about transition planning, and while you're seeing here is K-12, transition planning takes very many facets here. Could be transitioning between classes and supporting students throughout their day, could be transitioning between grade levels, different buildings, as well as life beyond Plain Edge education. And I'm going to highlight some of the different programs and supports that we have in place. For all 3 of our elementary schools, we support coordination for new students that enter the district, ensuring that they are met with friendly faces and are building connections from day 1 in the school year. We provide individual counseling as needed, both proactive and reactive, representing classroom lessons, some pertaining to special for social emotional learning, others for the needs of the individual classes and the culture that the teachers are presenting. We run group counseling, including weekly lunch bunch groups, counseling groups that may encapsulate banana splits for families of divorce, or even social skills. We facilitate 5th grade transition groups that prepare the students, and I'll share a little bit more there, as well as providing professional development opportunities for the staff and the community to better understand the needs of the students and ways that we can continue to support them. Some of the points of pride would be Bright Futures Week, which I'll share with you in a second. Right now at Schwarting, Mr. Tizio is piloted along with staff and administration, Connect 3 pilot, which allows our students to build connections with 3 faculty within the building. Students that build more connections are more prone for success, as well as positive schooling experiences. We implement and support the Character Strong SEL program throughout all of the buildings. Mr. Tizio creates presentations for the students and different exciting activities for them to do to really bring the lessons to life. As well, in a second, I'm going to share with you about the 5th grade into the 4th into 5th grade mascot and Pen Pal Wellness Day. So one area I want to highlight is our Bright Futures program, which happens over the course of a week in all of the elementary buildings. Activities go for every day, both inside and outside of school. On Monday, we always start with celebrating the pride within Plain Edge. Tuesday, we're talking about career opportunities for the students where they come in dressed in suits and different outfits that would represent the potential career paths for themselves. You do see a lot of football players on that day, so I think that feeds into our athletic program nicely. On Wednesday, we highlight college opportunities and college day. On Thursday, we talk about goal planning. And Friday, we do a career day that the teachers share experiences in their pathway to becoming educators, as well as providing the students with some questionnaires to bring home so that parents and students can actually interview each other and talk about skills and areas of opportunity for their children, as well as learning from their parents about how they chose the careers that they chose. And you can see the kids get very excited about this week. in these pictures. We also, throughout the year, collaborate with building administration across the district to support the Pen Pal Wellness Day activities. This is where we partner fifth graders across the buildings to service pen pals with each other. They select a mascot. This year it's Dragon Pals. And throughout the course of the year, they're building connections with students that their peers that they're going to be in the middle school with. So they have friendly faces that they may not have ordinarily been connected to throughout the year. So they're starting out middle school with a social network outside of their elementary school. In June, actually in about a month from now, we're going to be meeting in the high school gym to participate in team building activities. Exciting activities that really helps just to connect this class in ways that having 3 elementary schools, unfortunately, prohibits us from. In the middle school, we take all of our elementary programming and just elevate it more, developing individualized student achievement academic support plans and peer tutoring programs. As we know, as students move from elementary to middle school, there's a little more independence and the expectations rise, and we are there to support them with those rising expectations. Providing individual counseling to support decision-making, executive functioning skills, conflict resolution, all of the fun and challenging emotional hurdles that students will encounter in middle school. We present classroom lessons supporting their academic planning and career exploration, while again continuing to support our new students to this community and ensuring that they are connected to their peers. Some of the points of pride that I'm going to highlight: we have our College Awareness Week, which I will share with you in a minute, along with our Summer Bound Camp. We do 6th grade groups addressing organizational skills, study skills, goal setting. If you think about it, students, when they get to middle school, are often expected to just have the skills already developed. No one actually teaches you to be a student and to be successful, and we're supporting that growth. We also support them as they may encounter challenges with their peers, offering peer mediation groups, as well as mentoring opportunities to continue to connect them to the amazing faculty we have. So College Awareness Week in the middle school is a plethora of activities. Every day there are multiple things happening, whether it be contests, whether it be opportunities for students to do virtual tours within their classrooms, to speak to the counselors, as well as all of the staff around the building about their educational pathways, the decisions that they've made so that students can learn from their experiences, and more spirit activities. It's amazing to me how connected where we are in our buildings. We are a smaller community relative to other school districts on Long Island, and we're always looking for more ways to build connections and to break down social barriers. Middle School Bound Camp happens over the summer. In fact, it was actually the first activity that I had seen when I started here in Plain Edge over in the middle school. Students were in a classroom with one of our middle school counselors, engaging in team building activities, building a high tower out of household items. At the same time, we're talking to them again about those critical executive functioning skills that will help them find success in the middle school. We provide them with a tour of the building. They go through their schedule. We're having discussions about internet safety and ways that they can protect themselves when they're not in the building. Most importantly to the kids would be practicing the locker. It's not easy these days for kids to manipulate the locker and get in there. And so any practice before the first day of school is a bonus for all of us. And we do a scavenger hunt to help acclimate them to the building. The high school guidance services, incredibly robust. When we look at the challenges that teenagers are facing throughout their high school development, older kids bring older, more real life challenges that we all face, and we're there to support them every step of that way. Again, focusing on the academic support and advisement, helping them make sure that they are going through high school with intention. We want to help them to better understand themselves and make sure that they're making the right academic decisions to set them up for success now and in the future. We monitor closely and collaborate with the faculty on student progress and supporting academic challenges every day, practically every period. There are teachers and faculty coming in and out of the guidance suite to check in on a student, to see if there's something we know or the ways that we can help support them in their classrooms. We develop grade level lessons on career and post-high school planning, working very hard to make sure that students know all of the amazing opportunities that exist out there and career paths that they didn't even know were an opportunity. Continuing to organize our new student breakfast and our activities, making sure that, again, they continue to be connected even if they were to come into our buildings in senior year. We provide support for students and families through the various mental health and social emotional needs, collaborating quite frequently with our mental health team and the special education department. And we coordinate orientation and transition programming from the middle school to the high school. In fact, we're going to be going in the next couple of weeks over to the middle school to collaborate with the counselors and the support team there so that we can better understand the ninth graders as they're coming up, so that there is no learning curve to building relationships and they can really hit the ground running. Before I get into the points of pride around post-secondary planning, I did share with the board a handout, and I apologize for the typo up top. It should read 2 and 4 year schools. But we are constantly, no different than when you look at in the education world, we're analyzing data. We're looking at our students' performance and opportunities, and throughout it all, we're seeing where there are opportunities for improvement and growth. And so what you'll see on here is actually all the way the data through the 2024 class of 2024. You'll see the percentage of students attending 2-year college, 4-year college, and overall attending college. We have a very diverse profile of students that are graduating, students that are entering trades and careers, students that are going into the military, and students that are taking gap year opportunities for a variety of reasons. We're here to support them, but at the same time, make sure that every student knows how high they can aim. And so we're already analyzing the class of 2025 data. We're collecting it still. Maybe shocking for you to know, but still in flux as students are making decisions and still weighing out their options. But right now, I believe we are pacing to improve on last year's numbers and the percentage of students going on to college, while at the same time making sure that everyone has a plan that meets their individual needs. I get very excited about the breadth and depth of the post-high school planning that we do here. I mentioned earlier about the level of expertise that our counselors have. And I think when we look at all of the changing landscape of post-high school opportunity, it's remarkable to me how well our counselors have stayed on top of trends, have understood the college process in and out, and are able to share that expertise for the betterment of our students' opportunities. So when you look at our points of pride, we're doing individual student and family meetings at any point. Families will reach out to us, whether it be having a phone call with a parent or a student that stops in on their lunch period. We are frequently making ourselves available. And I think Mr. Cipriano said it perfectly well this week. The guidance office is a spot where students can come in at any point when they have a question or something crosses their mind, and we welcome them with open arms. We have formal programming and advisory meetings that we're helping and supporting the advisory program here. We do multiple evening programs, which I've seen many of you attend. We have junior post-high school planning night, senior post-high school planning night, which you'll notice is very inclusive. Not talking about just college for everyone here. We want students to go into whatever pathway they want, but we also want to make sure that they are educated to know what the opportunities exist. In this room, we hosted financial aid night with the Assistant Director of Financial Aid for Siena College earlier this year, as well as promoting every opportunity for our students to earn scholarship money. College is not cheap. I know that firsthand as I look at my junior that we'll be applying next year. And we want to make sure that our students are starting going into the college process and going into college with as little debt as possible. We host support around FAFSA completion. We're promoting, actually, we partnered with SUNY Farmingdale, where their financial aid office allowed students and families to come in and complete the FAFSA with their admission counselors. June 6th, we have Scholastic Awards, where we're going to be handing out thousands and thousands of dollars for our students that has been well earned from the senior class. I'm excited to see it. I'm going to be running it, but I'm excited to watch. I know how much money our students are getting, both for academic achievement and character achievement. I think it's really important to understand that our students are earning scholarship money on the values that we've worked to instill in them, which I think it's a testament to the work that this district does. We have our fall mini college fairs, as well as a very large college fair that we hosted a few weeks back. Amongst also Instant Decision Day, where all of the local colleges come in. They're rendering instant decisions for our students that are interested in attending one of those schools. And at that same time, potentially offering scholarship. We calculated the amount of money that was given out to over 100 applicants that were accepted, and it was close to $1 million in scholarship that our students had earned just by participating in that here that day. We did our college and career post-secondary celebration, which I'm going to share a little information about that in a second, as well as we're about to engage in college essay writing workshops, partnering with Hofstra, as well as Delphi University, where their admission reps are going to come in and give firsthand advice as to what makes a great college essay and helping our students get the process started, as well as pushing into all of our 11th grade English classes to get them all started on completing a common application. By the time they go into the summer, they'll have an account started, they'll have parts of it already completed, and in some cases fully completed, so that the big hurdle of actually applying to college will already be taken down. In addition, we partner with Method Test Prep to offer college testing night, helping our students better understand the requirements that sadly are coming back into the mix for college admissions. Making the SAT and ACT a required part of the process, again, for many schools. Not all, thankfully, but many. What you see on the screen represents a culmination of all of the work that we do here with our students. This is in the lobby of the high school, and actually on May 1st, which was National Decision Day, was our post-high school and career celebration day. That's where all of the senior class during our 12th grade advisory period started out in this cafeteria, and we had a whole day of celebrating them. There are Polaroids. We asked them to either wear the sweatshirt of the college they were attending or represent the career that they are looking to go into. And it was remarkable to me just how proud these kids were throughout the day. Teachers, faculty, district office coming in and taking pictures and really, again, celebrating the countless years of hard work and the many hands that have been involved in their development, giving them these opportunities. So, like I said, this is a cross-section. I wish I could tell you everything in the finest detail of what guidance does, but so much of what we do is really dependent on the needs of the district here. No day is the same as the one prior, and that's what makes it as exciting as it is. So thank you very much.
At this time, I open for questions for Mr. Wasserman. And I want to first of all thank you for creating and showing us all the incredible opportunities that our staff offers to the students, and how we help prepare them for obviously our K through 12 plus journey. And the bottom line is that what we're doing on a daily basis matters. And we have a lot of programs running at this point in time, which I'm very proud of today. So I'd like to thank you for that. And I open the floor for questions and turn it back to the president.
So in the post-graduation plans of students, are there any common themes you've seen so far in your time where either more support is needed? I'm thinking of the essays, are we doing a good job? Are the kids able to do a good job? Are they efficient in any areas? Is there any more support that the students need to make sure they get where they want to go, whether that's, are they not getting into their first choice of college, maybe second choice, or they not getting into a trade program? Are there is there any commonality there that we should be taking a look at?
I think that's a great question. Look, this is my first year, so it's hard to be able to say every area of opportunity. I do think, and one of the things that I was able to see early on in the fall, was the actual steps of applying to college takes a good amount of work, right? Writing the essays. So when we talk about writing a college essay, you write one that generally goes to all colleges, and then every college may have a supplemental essay. You apply to 10 colleges. That's one main essay, 10 essays that could be anywhere from 250 to 500 words. It's a lot of work. And on top of it, school year starts. Senior grades count. You're maybe studying for SATs. We're really trying to move things early within reason, which is why we're doing the Common App now in junior year. It rolls forward, and that takes the actual heaviness of filling out the application and getting the questions that they don't even know they have yet answered. I think they go into the summer with a little more intention and can then focus just on making sure their list is what it should be. I do think more exposure is helpful. I don't think any kids are going to, all kids will benefit from being able to understand what exists out there. So when we look at our college night programming, Mr. Tizio and I started talking about incorporating trades. So not just the colleges there, but maybe the apprenticeship programs and the unions to be able to share with the kids the opportunities. I don't care what you do. I care that you make an educated decision and you're doing what's right for you. I want every kid to get into their first choice, but a great college list is one that all 10 of those are preferably the ones that you want to go to. And if any one of them are your only option, you will be happy and successful. So helping the kids develop some college lists that may be a little bit more robust and thoughtful, it'll help starting a little bit earlier. But I think having, looking this way because we have some counselors here, having admissions experts coming in fact, junior college night this year, we brought in a panel of admissions experts. No different than when you hear from a parent. I've been doing this for over 20 years. My junior looks at me like, you know nothing. So, I want them to hear directly from the people making decisions. We had the VP for admission at Marist. We had the VP for admission at Lemoyne. And we had admission director from Farmington here. We always want to show kids a cross-section of what exists out there, making sure that they understand both the private, the public, and really just hear directly from those on the inside. And so I think that again, just enhances all that we do. But I think, like anything, we need to take that step back, look at the classes and see where we can meet their needs, because each class is so different.
I actually have a few questions, but I'm gonna work off of Mr. Garcia's point about post-secondary education, where I guess, do we measure success in terms of, does a child from Plainridge actually complete college? So for example, one of my biggest concerns, and I'm sure a lot of parents' concerns, revolves around the fact that, maybe they start college, they've already put in tens of thousands of dollars into the first year, second year, and then they maybe drop out because it really wasn't the right fit for them.
Yeah.
Can we keep track of stats like that? Can we better, having historical information, be able to figure out maybe before they get to that point what might be a better path potentially, or other avenues someone might need to consider?
So I'm going to jump in for Mr. Ross,
Yeah, sure.
since it's his first year.
Yeah, that's a heavy question. In all fairness, I totally get it.
I'm going to help him out. So we do study that data, and throughout the years that I have been here, when we look at that data, our students actually exceed the county average of students completing in 4 years, and then 6 years, and then 8 years. So we do have that data, and we look at it, and we have overall exceeded the county and the state average. Sometimes you have different, different cohorts have different needs. When COVID happened, you saw the trends across all New York State, and the region change because students are going away to college, they're experiencing the isolation. So we do analyze that, and overall we have had more success than other places in that. And again, a lot of times there's self-reporting data, so we always have to keep that in mind, and what we get from the clearinghouse of the colleges.
Well, one thing I would add, or two things actually. One, we frequently have alumni calling us, seeking out additional support if needed. We're always there for them as well. So it's important to understand that even though they're graduates, we still will make time to share any resources that we can with them. The other piece is this year out of this graduating class, we have a handful of students doing a gap. Gap year shows to me that they're trying to be a little more thoughtful in their pathway. Taking a year to take a step back, better understand themselves, maybe for reasons, whether it be financial or other, spending that time so that they can then develop the plan of where to go. And it doesn't mean that we look at that and say, oh, you got a gap year, take that year and do nothing. We're still engaging with them, having conversations and helping them to better understand how to do it. So that they're not, we want it to be with, again, more intention, not sitting on the couch.
So Aaron's Law, I think, what was it, 2 years ago, maybe, that you had to go over that. I know there was maybe, I got the sense, and I wasn't really clear on why, but maybe there was apprehension around it being rolled out. Just kind of wanted to see if there's a sense as to how that's going. Just general update, I guess, on it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we do have a pretty robust website for families to be able to better understand all of the detailed messaging that we're sharing. Obviously age appropriate, required by New York State. I will say that Mr. Tizio really collaborates quite frequently with the building administration and faculty to make sure that we're following the required lessons, sharing the information as best as we can. And again, and I think it's really important to say, at the most age appropriate level. I haven't heard any concerns with it this year, and I think most of it has been handled on the building.
Since we've given the public that information, I think that put people at ease that these are age appropriate. We are following that. And so far, since we rolled it out, there has not been anything over the last 2 years.
I remember watching some of the videos first, but not seeing pretty standard conversations about personal safety. Yeah. So.
And our guidance counselors help roll that out, so that really gives that personal connection to the students and the comfort level of those things.
So the other thing I was curious about is I have a 10th grader. She applied to BOCES, she got in, which I'm happy about. But one of the things I think I picked up was that we limit how many students can apply to BOCES, and I can understand, making sure that we're not taking spots from other students who might be more serious about it. Is that like a number that we should look at, maybe expanding further so that we can offer that opportunity to more students?
Sure. I think it's important. We're not telling kids that there's a max amount. We promoted BOCES through actually the advisory period for 10th grade. All students were invited to learn about, we do have our own internal process. Which actually is not uncommon across districts that I've been in. Students will apply internally to attend BOCES.
Right.
And those applications are reviewed. We want to make sure that students are going there for the right reason. They understand what they're getting into and the commitment over the 2 years and the programming that is offered. And so there's a committee of individuals and administrators within the school that review the applications. If there are concerns about it, we may have a conversation with the student. And then BOCES has their own process, and it's actually becoming quite competitive for students to get in for certain programs. It used to be BOCES welcomed everybody, and now we're at a point where they have their own caps across districts. And we're fortunate. We picked up the phone. We will advocate for our kids, and I've spoken to the principal of both BOCES programs multiple times to advocate for our kids to attend. I think it goes back to what I said earlier, is that every student look at their individual pathway. Making sure that they know what exists and make sure that they're applying, and we're able to provide them resources on it.
Other questions? That's pretty much it. Thank you. Other questions from the board?
Also a parent and creator, and I know you opened up college night to all kids. My son fought me tooth and nail. Back up. I'm going to be the only 10th grader there. Why are you making me go? Just like you said. And we got there, and he was really, really happy that he went. Because we learned about opportunities he would have never known about. So he's into sports, and there were representatives there that actually said, "This is the coach you need to speak to. This is
Awesome.
set up a Twitter account." So he got wealth of information. So I would recommend just tell those younger kids to go, even if they feel like they don't want to.
Sure.
They should definitely, because he learns so much.
Yeah, there are a few, and I appreciate that. Thank you. There are a few outside of district programs that we also promote at different college fair events. There's always a SUNY fair, there's a big national fair, so we're going to share that out 9 to 12 as best we can. And I don't look at it as trying to stress a ninth grader out. I think when you plant those seeds, it opens up doors, like you said.
Actually, walk in three very good leads to build on next year.
I had a few questions. I sent them ahead of time. And we received the data on 2-year college students. The 2-year college bound students, I think that's a great trend that goes down, and the 4-year college students is going up a tick, which is nice. So, I remember the days when maybe 20-30% of our students went to 2-year college. It was definitely higher than this. So, just making a good trend. My first question was, is beyond college night, what other strategies are in place to promote 4-year college opportunity? I see it's working. You explain the whole plethora of events that you do, plant the seeds early. Sure. Which is great. So I couldn't answer that question. So we had an award given to our high school this year, the New York State School of Character. So just wondering if there's any examples you can get, like, so I'm trying to make sure that's being fruitful for our students, and they're going to be taking opportunities from us getting the award. And this is it. Are there any examples of this you can do?
I can, well, so we were recognized later in the school year, which would have been after the seniors applied. However, every year we do a school profile. That school profile goes with every single transcript to every single college a student applies to. It essentially becomes the legend for understanding our transcripts and the students in this community. I created the one for this year. Come next year, School of Character and our core values will be woven into the school profile so the colleges can better understand not just academically the students that they're bringing onto their community, but from a value perspective, how our students are going to be there to contribute to the population. And I think that, to me, is something that every college would value in the process. Because we're not just talking about grades, it's the whole picture of the child.
So you don't have any recruiters yet that have said, "Oh, this is great," but maybe next year we'll get back to you and see.
Well, they have. It's early. It hasn't been out in the world for the colleges yet. There hasn't been communication there, but believe me, it will be.
We put a lot of resources into that program, so we're getting results for our students. So that's good. Something else. So, somebody as a Board of Education trustee, I'm concerned about there's instances where students end up involved in CPS, the court system, because of chronic absenteeism. This is an issue. There's a newspaper article about it. So, yeah, those students aren't showing up for a reason, right? They
Sure.
Some type of issue with the classroom or whatnot, other students. So just wondering what additional steps, I know of at least one case, so I'm sure that there could be another one. What additional steps could we do as a district to intervene earlier and more effectively so these situations can be addressed before they escalate to where we have to go to courts and we have to talk to Child Protective Services. And additionally, are we utilizing crisis paraprofessionals and other available support personnel to mediate and resolve issues with and between students? Are there any gaps in how these resources are currently deployed, and is there anything we can correct?
So, yeah, I want to comment just on one thing before Mr. Wasserman answers the question. We don't have many cases with Child Protective Services related to chronic absenteeism, so I want to make that clear. So there's only less than a handful that have ever escalated over the past 14 years that have gotten to Child Protective Services specifically for non-attendance. We are involved with Child Protective Services. We are legal mandated reporters as educators. But I want to be clear about that. That's not the reason why. Typically, we interact with Child Protective Services. There's a whole series of responsibilities we as educators have as mandated reporters. But I'll allow him to answer the question, obviously, because Mr. Wasson is involved in supervision of many of our services, as involved as well as with our psychologists, social workers, in collaboration with the special education department. So I would ask him, obviously, to comment on as the question was.
Sure. I mean, look, CPS, no one gets into education to, with the goal of trying to involve CPS in a circumstance. We're doing everything at the building and district level to be able to support families individually based on whatever needs are presented. We are one part of a larger support team. So the counselors work collaboratively all day long with our psychologist, school nurse, social worker across the district to be able to work with the families and support the children when coming in. We work with building administration frequently to be able to acknowledge students that may be falling towards the chronic absenteeism, which is also a challenge, not just across Long Island, but is a challenge across the country right now. And we're working, the way our interventions are, we're talking about, and I don't want to get too granular with it, but tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. We're trying to escalate our supports based on the circumstances and based on things that may or may not. And so tier 1 interventions may be having conversations with the students, meeting with the parents, coming up with some type of formal plan for a student to follow, maybe truncating a day, trying to work on schedule changes that make sense for that student. As things may get elevated, it's not uncommon for us to go and visit the student at home, try to meet with them where they are, be able to support that parent with the child at home. We're not walking into a house with just the child there, but a team, 2 individuals will go over and meet with the student to better understand what it is that is keeping them. The days of just saying, get up and come in, it's over. There's so much happening in these kids' worlds that we're trying to work with them and meet them where they are so that this is something that isn't impacting them more than it needs to be. But I will say that the best way to address chronic absenteeism is something that we're already trying to do, is starting at the younger ages. It's not something that all of a sudden just presents itself in 11th grade, where all of a sudden a kid is missing school 30 days. When you look at that data over the years, it gradually increases. And we have to be able to work as a team. And with Ms. Tizio and our social worker on the elementary side, along with the building administration and any additional supports that we have, we're working to try to support those parents and give them resources. And the relationship we have with Northwell has gone remarkably far with that, because we're able to even provide connections to outside resources. We're able to work with families and get their insurance information, or at least connect them to somebody covered by insurance to provide mental health support, if that is the reason for them. It is something that will probably take my entire career to be able to get to a space where I can say absenteeism isn't a problem. But I'm not looking to wait that long. We're lucky enough to have leadership like the Sayoko and in our different buildings really being able to say, look, we're going to meet this summer and we're going to come up with a plan for day 1 of school. And we're going to really stick to that plan and work with all the supports we have to help our kids.
You have crisis professionals to
I mean, we're all trained in crisis.
a person like a one-on-one type of situation.
We are all involved in crises every day. It's part of our professional training. I've gone through a number of different crisis programs. Our psychologists are involved in trainings on suicide assessment, and really we're out on the field working in resources. We actually, both our social worker in the high school, our social worker in the elementary school, participated in BOCES multiple day chronic absenteeism workshop. And that's to bring those resources and strategies back to us to turnkey amongst the entire team.
We don't have crisis paraprofessional one-on-one.
I'm not sure what a crisis paraprofessional is actually. Could you just give me a little more detail on that so we can understand it?
Yeah, so it'll be somebody who will follow the student who might have issues in the school building. The student.
You see like a TA.
A TA, yeah. So to intervene when,
typically, so as far as the interventions happening from the administrative level, social worker level, guidance counselor level. We have guidance counselors that are in K through 12 at this point in time, and psychologists. So those are the paraprofessionals. They're not paraprofessionals. They are the professionals, the certificated professionals from New York State. Paraprofessionals are typically New York City terms. But as far as the crisis intervention, these trained professionals, psychologists, social worker, administrators are all trained in crisis intervention. And let's not forget, obviously, we have psychiatric support and psychology support. In addition, if it's necessary, from Northwell that is available. We do have a psychiatrist that shows up here on a half-day basis. And let's remember, especially when we get to the high school, the guidance counselors, social workers, and psychologists are all working together and touching base with the students that are obviously having some challenges with attendance. But at the same time, to answer the question itself, we don't have anyone that's certified or certificated and qualified to be what you were talking about. So I'm not familiar with that classification in New York State.
Next question. So we have a retirement on the PAR tonight. I was bring this up on the business, but so retirement brings to mind that family and consumer science classes. I took it back in middle school.
I'm sorry, that's not related to the guidance presentation.
The course offerings.
That's,
Yeah, we'd be happy to send you that. We have that. That'll be something we'll get back to you on. We only got these today.
Okay, so
that wouldn't, Mr. Vescarella, that would be a question with curriculum instruction, guidance helps schedule, the students into these courses. But that could be something.
kind of more of a central admin.
I do know how to cook. I mean, if that counts.
Pizza.
Oh, big time.
So. Okay, so that question. That's it for me.
Other questions from the board?
I just want to make a quick comment. Correct me if I'm wrong. Our guidance counselor at the elementary level, is that required by law as well?
In New York State.
Right. So one thing I just want to compliment is the way, of course, Ms. DeTizio in and of herself, in the way she does it, but also the way our district does run a K-12 guidance person, because I really feel that Ms. DeTizio has a knowledge base of elementary, high school, and I'm sorry, middle school and high school. And her ability to work with children, I know firsthand, she worked with fifth graders to prepare them for middle school. And I thought her knowledge base for that was just wonderful. And I know in my experience, it's always been an elementary guidance counselor in the elementary school. And I just don't see, well, yes, it helps with social emotional, there's benefits to it naturally. I just see the benefit of that K-12 role just so much greater. And I think that's a wonderful opportunity that we allow our students to have because of her depth of knowledge. So.
I would agree, and I thank you all for letting us have her. But I will say that what Ms. DeTizio, I've been in multiple districts, and what Ms. DeTizio does is remarkable, and certainly unique to our community.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
presentation.
Presentation number 3, update on New York State aid,
As everyone's aware, state aid ones are initial. There's two versions. There's the executive. Peter's going to go into this with you all. And finally, what's adopted by the legislature in the end. So there are initial state aid runs. The state aid runs are released on an annual basis. They always run behind schedule. It's politics. And there was a question that we received that was in reference to the reduction in state aid that the district has received this year. This morning that in general there was more money, but I want to talk about the why. And so in order for us to understand that best, I did ask him to put together a presentation which he'll lead you through. I wanted to answer any possible question about state aid and what the impact is to planning. And I assure you that by the time he's finished, you'll understand that we're in an excellent financial position and that this aid reduction is strictly by the numbers. So let him explain to you that this is his area. I don't do the math. He does it, but I understand it just like you're about to.
So as Dr. Selena said, there are two aid runs. The first aid run that comes out is called the executive budget. That is presented by the governor, and then you have the legislative budget, which is the legislature's negotiations with the governor to arrive at the final budget. As you know, the legislative budget was very late this year, and typically school districts use the executive budget and budget planning because that's comes in on time or close to being on time. It more fits with the budgeting schedule and the budget vote timeline. This year, the executive budget, and I want to clarify something, that this is an increase in aid from the prior year. It's not a decrease in aid from the prior year. It's just a decrease in aid between the executive and the legislative budget. The legislative budget happened to go down in two areas: foundation aid, building aid, and we'll discuss how those aids work in summary, not in detail. It's way too complex. For foundation aid, as you know, the Rockefeller Institute is doing the study and trying to revamp foundation aid and bring it more up to date and see the results of that in the coming years. So foundation aid is the largest piece of aid that the district receives. In New York State, foundation aid accounts for 71% of all aid distributed, and the rest of the aids are what they call expense-based aid. The foundation aid is more of a formulaic based aid. So they distributed $35.9 billion in foundation aid in 24-25. And it uses a complex formula. And I'm going to show you a page from the NYSED budgeting handbook on how to calculate foundation aid. We're not going to go into that much detail, obviously. So basically, in all world, there are two components to foundation aid. Foundation aid starts with a pupil weighting. You start with your actual enrollment, or average daily membership is what we call it. Then you include your BOCES, students that attend BOCES. There's an enrollment index, which is an index of comparison of 2 years of statewide enrollment, and it adjusts the enrollment index to go up or down. So let's, for argument's sake, say we're starting now with 2,828 students. The foundation aid weighs students with disabilities, special education students. They give you credit for that. So that increases your total aidable foundation pupil units, and they also give you credit for declassified students who are classified with disabilities and who are now unclassified. So realistically, our student population is about 2,800 students, but total aidable foundation pupil units for state aid purposes, 3,334 students because of the weighting of special ed students. The other component to the formula takes a statewide foundation amount. It adjusted for a regional cost index, a consumer price index, a pupil needs index, and a state sharing ratio. There's very complex formulas behind some of these regional cost index. That would have to do with labor statistics. The state sharing ratio takes into account property values, incomes within the district. It's all calculated by the tax department as well as the Office of Real Property Management up in Albany. And we don't have any input into that. So here's a representation. This is actually our numbers from 24-25. So you start out with a foundation aid amount. They adjust it for CPI every year, and they have a regional cost index. The regional cost index is 1.43. So you're taking the $8,000 and multiplying it by 1.43, or an increase of 43% on top of that. Long Island has the highest regional cost index of any area in New York State. So that's a rather high regional cost index. extraordinary needs, that has to do with, E&L students and free and reduced lunch, so they bump it up a little bit, but that's at $12,000. But here's where we get hurt on this formula is the expected minimum local contribution. That has to do with property values and wealth values and income values within the district. So they reduce it by the expected minimum local contribution. So the actual aid amount that we get is $5,230. And on the next slide, you see you take the $5,231 dollars and you multiply it by the total aidable foundation pupil units. So our estimated foundation aid for 24-25 is $17,441,000. So why was there a reduction in the 25-26 foundation aid in the executive budget versus the enacted legislative budget? When we do our ST3, we start the process in August. We pull data that we have in the system as to enrollment at that time. That translated into a total aidable foundation aid pupil units of 3,356 students. In October, on Bed's Day, when we reported to the state, we had, at that point in time, our records indicated that we had 3,331 students. That was the main driver in the reduction in foundation aid of $153,000. It was based on enrollment data that we had at the time when we did it, the July estimate versus the October estimate. Any questions on it?
No, that might be the most.
Do you want to go back to the?
No, that might be the most lucid explanation of foundation aid I've ever seen. So
thank you.
Welcome to that.
The other component of aid that was reduced between the executive budget and the legislative budget was building aid. So building aid is based on expenses incurred in construction. It's allowable for new buildings, additions, alterations, and modernization of district-owned buildings. Building plans have to be approved by SED. There's calculations that go into the maximum allowable aid on any project that includes capacity of the building and estimated construction costs, and they limit you on incidental costs. We did have, which project was it? That's Selena, that our architect was going back and forth with SED on, was it the athletic facility?
We're supposed to move to the next slide.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so we went based on building capacity, like the state ed may not aid you if I said I want to build a second gym. They'll say that your population of students and the square foot of your existing gym can accommodate them. So they take that all into consideration when they're determining, when they're determining how much building aid you can get on any project. So what happened was the executive budget included what they call deferred building aid. So they know which projects have been approved by the commissioner up in Albany, and they know which projects we have submitted our SA 139. The projects have to, in order to receive building aid on any project, the project has to have been approved 18 months prior to your submission of your final course report. And you have to have submitted the SA 139. The SA 139 is a form that shows the estimated cost of the project based on bidding results. So the executive budget included an estimate for projects that were eligible to receive building aid at the time that they did the executive budget. The legislative budget did not include any of those projects. I've spoken with our consulting group that we use, all the districts use, Questar BOCES. They looked at the projects that were excluded from the legislative budget. They assured me that those projects are eligible for state aid and that I can file those projects. I intend to file those projects in over the summer. So the big project would be the athletic center that we just built, as well as the energy performance project. Those are very big projects that we've done. And the aid received on those projects that aren't in the legislative budget will more than exceed the loss of aid in the run report. So I don't believe that there's an issue with the loss of aid in those reports, and I just want to state that, you know, these aid runs are estimates. They're estimates based on what they're projecting you're going to spend in any area. But for instance, the BOCES aid. I mean, the BOCES aid is based on a projection of what we think we're going to spend in BOCES funds, our aid rate. So none of these aids are written in stone. They're all estimates, as is the rest of your budget, both the expenditure side and the revenue side. You know, sometimes you get a little more, sometimes you get a little less. We've had a pretty good history with budgeting accurately on the revenue side. So I really don't perceive a problem with having less aid in the legislative budget than we did in the executive budget.
Yeah, my concern was if something changed in terms of like how these things are calculated. I guess the only question I have, I'm trying to understand still is the last part, where you said the full year aid on these projects is estimated to exceed. What do you mean by that exactly? What? The last sentence on this slide.
So if
I'm just not understanding.
If I file a final cost report anytime between July 1 and December 31st, I'll receive a full year's aid. If I file it after, if I, yeah, I'll get I'll get a half year out.
All right, now I understand.
But these projects are ready to be filed just about.
Okay.
Question is with your medical, you know, they shifted the poverty index from reduced price lunch to other non-poverty measures. With the budget moving breakfast and lunch,
Breakfast and lunch is in a separate fund. It's in the seed fund. It's not part of the budget that the public votes on.
I'm just saying we anticipate further impacts on the foundation aid fund level.
I wouldn't think so. No, I wouldn't think so. Not through the 3 months. And I believe we haven't had the confirmation yet. I believe there was a little adjustment for the poverty, E&L. I think it was the E&L portion.
Yeah, I think we're 2 or 3 poverty measures.
Yeah.
Next week, it's still blowing out.
Right.
So you have to see where that ends up.
Right.
Additional questions from the board?
Yeah. In relation to thorough explanations of the foundation ability. So there's a reduction of 295,000. Are we gonna have to reduce the budget?
There's no impact. No, I believe that will, I believe that by the time the end of 25, 26 comes around, we will have gotten probably in excess of what was budgeted in the executive budget.
So this is to be filed before the end of the year. We will.
We realize,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Just have to get that.
No, it's a lot.
Yeah, so.
Definitely a lot.
I never thought I'd understand any of this.
Yeah.
And I took a whole bunch of ISPA stuff, and now I don't know. I probably know just enough to annoy you more. But I really do appreciate it. I kind of wave it.
I tried my best to confuse everybody. Excellent presentation. Thank you. Thank you for the question.
Very informative, thank you. Moving on to business. Motion first.
Yeah.
A motion to accept items 1 through 35. Ms. Paris, second. Mr. Garcia, all in favor?
Mr. President,
Yes.
prior to approving, I have an addendum to add. I'd like to read it. It'll be item number 36, settlement agreement with general release. Resolved that the board president is authorized to execute the settlement agreement and general release dated March 2025, executed by employee number 00284, which agreement has been reviewed by the Board of Education. And I would ask the board to consider that and adopt and actually consider items number 1 through 36 as amended.
Do I have a motion to approve items 1 through 36 as amended? Mr. Morrissey, second. Mrs. Versace, all in favor?
All in favor, motion carried.
Thank you. All right, here we go. Section 7, Pride and Planning. Opportunity for board members to present on attendance participation at school and or community events. Yeah, Mr. Harris.
I just want to thank everybody who was involved in Special Olympics. Really proud day for the Planet family here. Hard work by so many people. I know Miss Murphy and Miss Michael did a lot of work. I know the high school administration was at the junior prom till late at night, and we were here 6 o'clock in the morning working to get food done. So we appreciate the hard work, the dedication. 400 volunteers from the community is unbelievable. And probably one of the best days this community has seen, run smoothly. Special Olympics people love us so much. They want to know if we would, I don't know if anybody heard this, but they would like us to host a state Special Olympics here. I didn't even know if you heard that.
I think we're busy.
What a day. So thank you, everybody who was involved. A lot of board members who spent the whole day there. People were there all day. So thank you to everybody. They did a fantastic job.
Anyone else?
The best day, I got to judge powerlifting for the second year in a row, and it was the longest event, and we closed the place down, but it was at the end, it was really one of my favorite days ever. But in addition to that, the weekend before that, I had the privilege to volunteer at the Painted Fire, and that was a lot of fun. I got to hand out the water en route. It was nice to see children, adults, senior citizens, everybody came out in support of our scholarship. So that was really great to see.
Special Olympics was exhausting. It was exciting though. I hadn't been here for as much of it the year before. I know how hard I worked, which means the competitors and the volunteers worked 10 times harder than I did. I missed the John H. West play. I did get to go to the East Plain play. If we ever need people to act as trees, I have the 3 best kids I've ever seen at it. They're awesome. And we definitely have one kid who stood out as one of the monkeys to play. So there's so much flag football today. I got to get to almost a quarter before the PTA thing today, and although I guess I sort of knew it, I don't know if I realized how aggressive and competitive the girls can be on the field. Which, I mean, I had to ask if blocking was legal. I think there was a couple penalties around this, but it was fun to watch, and I'm gonna make sure I get to all this player.
So I did the student robot connection with my family, and it was great to see so many students there getting involved in that type of science, and appreciate the tour of the planetarium by Mr. Fuchs and Mr. White. It was great. And that was my first time at the Special Olympics we had here. It was just a great afternoon. You know, we had really it's nice to see. It's nice to see the whole community out smiling. Everybody's happy. It's good to see all the students from across the island happy. Everybody was excited. So it was a really positive day. So I was happy to be there.
So I was able to attend the John H. West play. It was wonderful production. My compliments, Annie is fantastic. But maybe you want to cut the mics. As everyone said, the Special Olympics was a wonderful day, and I was also very happy to attend the Olympics. I'm always fascinated to see how in depth, not just my children, but all the students are at the technology that still baffles me. As I take my notes with them.
And of course, the Special Olympics really hit, hard on the heartstrings, and seeing districts from all over Long Island. And I actually got I ran into a lot of teachers and administrators I knew, and they just raved about our grounds and how beautiful our campus is. So that's always nice to hear. And I was able to also attend the He's Playing Wizard of Oz, which was, they really are, the staff over there really puts on quite a production. And the time and effort they put into working with the kids, it certainly paid off. I also want to thank Kathleen McEnroe and Vanessa Laverde, our leadership for Plain Edge Executive Council and PTAs for hosting our Meet the Candidate night. And thank you for all who watched or came. It allowed all of us to speak about why we do what we do to support Plain Edge. And then I just wanted to also mention it's the start of concert season. So I was able to attend the middle school concert. And I know we've all spoke about just how wonderful it always sounds. And it really does. When you think of those sixth graders from the beginning, playing with 3 different schools to now, they just sound incredible. And I look forward to seeing the elementary schools and the high school concert come up. And we have a busy June ahead, so get ready. Thank you, everybody, for being there and being here tonight also. And congratulations to all our tenure recipients. It literally is my favorite night of the year because they worked so hard to earn the right to be a tenured teacher in Plain Edge. So thank you.
So just to add to that, I went to all those events as well. Surprisingly, I don't know how many I did. Unfortunately, I didn't get to stay at Special Olympics as long as I'd like this year because I was home with 5 kids. I had to run back, make sure everyone was still alive. In terms of the robotics day, I did attend Plain Edge, but I wasn't here when we had back into school. I always heard about how great the planetarium was there. I want to say Mr. Fuchs and Mr. White, the planetarium was pretty amazing. I really enjoyed the experience. Luckily, I didn't flip the seat. I kept my feet on the ground, so that was good. And then also with respect to all the middle school content, 6 through 8, one of the things I actually really did enjoy was the choral part, in the sense that it was amazing to hear them singing these patriotic songs and like the medleys that they were putting together. So it's nice to see that we have that happening in our schools and appreciation for our country and what we're about. So that's all I have to say. Moving on to new business.
Mr. President,
Yes.
if I could just make a comment on an item that was approved tonight on the agenda by the board. It also answers the question that we received in reference to civil service payrolls that are being requested that are 2019.
Yeah.
If that's okay with you. I want everyone to know that 2019 was the year of COVID. They had suspended working over at civil service, and they had suspended all reports, all reporting requirements. So every district, either the superintendent or board president signs certified payroll for civil service. The reason there is certified payroll is they want to be sure that people are working here and are being paid in accordance with civil service law. Civil service was out for 2 years in general in that office. So they immediately had suspended the request for any reports to be processed, and they're just catching up now. So we now will have filed all arrears reports that were not requested until recently. And I want to thank Mr. Brazo and Dr. LaValliant for working together to be sure that these reports were done. This is an HR responsibility. They typically print the report, it gets signed, and it's approved at a typical meeting like we are here. So it's important for us to understand what it is, and that the district was not deficient in delivering those reports or late. They were not requested until only a couple months ago. I guess they're just catching up now and realizing what's been missing. But I do want that to be a clear understanding about what happened here. We always submit those reports as requested, and we're back on schedule again. We'll be fully up to date as of tonight and that was item number 35, but I wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Selena. So, moving on to new business, 3rd to 8th grade New York State testing. I forget which board member had raised it.
Mr. Pasquale had a question.
I sent an email to Mr. Haber. Want us to read the email? Yes.
I did, but I forgot that. What? Oh, do you want to read the email?
I can read it.
Yeah, sure.
Right, so I sent on Friday. I'd like to request that we add an item to the agenda for a discussion and analysis of this year's opt-out numbers for the grades 3 through 8 state testing. Specifically, I'm interested in reviewing how this year's data compares to previous years and exploring strategies to reduce the number of opt-outs moving forward. And additionally, I believe it would be beneficial for us to verify that our current procedures for handling test refusals are in full compliance with state law and regulations. It's on the agenda for tonight. Yeah. I'm going to request.
Yeah. Should the board want this prepared, I can have this ready and I can send this out as an advisory. And should they wish to choose to discuss it further, that would be fine. I will let you know that we're in full compliance with New York State education law in reference to the question about opt-outs and how we're handling them. And one of the requirements according to New York State education law is that the district makes efforts in order to support people taking those examinations, which we do in letter format to parents on an annual basis. So we're happy to send that out as an advisory format to the board. All that data is readily available. It will be prepared by Dr. DiPaiola's office in collaboration with our data specialists that file all of our scores electronically with the state of New York. And we can have that for you in the next week.
That work? That works for me. Okay. Great. Number 2, ex officio, non-voting student school board member, Mr. Pasquale. So, in the policy committee, sorry, we have to basically decide what the policy that the committee is going to bring to the board to be read regarding the student board member. So that's under state law. We don't have a choice. It's happening. And really, that's not a question the policy committee probably should come up with, how we're going to do it. So if you want, I can give you the different options the lawyer laid out, and then we can probably have a little discussion. Policy committee can bring that discussion back. The lawyer will add it to our policy, and it'll eventually be presented to us. So it could be, I guess it could be almost anything, but this is what was given by the lawyer. Elected student president of the high school. It could be a student elected by the student body in a separate election. A student selected by the high school student government, where that group will pick the person. A student selected by either the high school principal or the superintendent of schools, or a student selected by a majority vote of the Board of Education. So those are the different options. I think we, unless Mr. Baker, you want to do it, we'll just kind of go through a little bit and see what everybody might like.
Also, if it's okay, I'd just like to comment. We have had discussions here internally. This is obviously, it's not a policy requirement, but it is a policy that can be added, so it's not an issue whatsoever. I do have a little brochure that I'll send out to everybody if you don't have it yet from the state of New York. On this specifically, it's a NYSBA article, actually, it's not the state of New York, and it concludes exactly what you just shared. I met with Principal Ioko, and she stayed tonight to kind of answer any questions the board might have. The students have a process for picking a school leader that represents the school on an annual basis, but I wanted her to come and stay tonight, and thank you very much for getting babysitting, to talk a little bit about the process that's used, how they find that individual that's going to serve on a regular basis, and for us to give us a little history about that person. So if it's okay with the board, if I can ask her to speak first about how the council works on an annual basis in order to elect a student leader at every grade level, and some of the patterns that she's seen with that individual that rises to the top, maybe not in general, though, is consecutive years that the students continue to pick that person that they believe best represents them as they travel through the high school. So, Principal Ioko, could you explain the method? Because I had to meet with her to understand what the process is, and specifically to decide if I would recommend to you as a superintendent that we let the students decide who should represent them and speak for them on behalf at a board meeting. I've been involved with this before. I had student representatives in previous districts that I worked in, so I'm very familiar with the process. They've just codified it now by making it a requirement according to New York State law. That's my open.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So each year, each grade has a council that they apply to be in. So year prior, so we actually going through this process right now. The advisor for each grade sends out information asking anyone if they're interested in being on the council for the grade. The students have to attend a meeting, they have to apply, and even if they can't attend, they still take the responsibility to talk to the advisor and submit their application. Each council for each grade is 10 students, so if only 10 students apply, there's no need for an election because those are the students who are interested in being on the council. After they apply for the council, within that, those 10 members then vote on the different leadership positions. They also do have processes where if the students aren't following through with their responsibilities, then they do like a reorganization essentially. And then they have a new vote and a new election during the year. But what we've had, I mean, I've been here for 2 years, so I can't say long standing, but what it has been is often the students, their president has continued on through the grades. And what I've been doing last year and this year is those 4 presidents, before they come, we will meet together about once every month. And when they come to me, they go to their council first, and their council reaches out to the whole grade to see what they want to talk about, what issues they have, what they want to try and work on. And then the 4 of them come together, they have a chat that they're all talking as well. And then they come and meet with me and we discuss everything together. So that is the process that we go through. And we're also talking about with this person that the senior who has been past 2 years will most likely be the president again. And for senior year, they'd have to be aware of this responsibility as accepting the role of president to know that this would be a new position.
So, Prince Radical, you and I spoke about this a few times, knowing that this was coming up. What would be your recommendation as the principal, as a person that would best represent the high school as a student in their capacity? Obviously, the board can choose what they believe might serve us best, but I feel that you're the organizational leader. I wanted to hear from you, and I want the board to hear it directly.
So my recommendation would be the senior president is being aware that this would be part of their responsibility because they do speak with not just their grade, but they really do organize the other 3 grades as well in councils and offer them advice and work on getting the opinions and voices of everyone heard. So they really do have the best pulse of everything going on.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the principal at this time?
Yeah, quickly, in terms of the person's character, takes choices, they generally have a high character. When I went to school here, it's not the same. I think my president didn't graduate actually, so I just want to make sure it's.
Our president this year who's graduating is the salutatorian.
Okay.
She's involved in everything. They are very well represented in all areas of the school. They're very involved in academics, extracurricular clubs, so they're very well-rounded students. And like I also said, there is a process if they're not upholding their duties, then there is a reorganization as well for them.
They need to codify that they were moved as president of a reorganization, that they are removed from the board as well.
I'm sorry?
Would we need to codify in the policy that if the person is removed during the reorganization as the president, that they're removed from the board as well? Because in some ways, they're 2 distinct.
So that's a legal question. So she's gonna write it. She has a template created already because we're not the first school district. They already have school districts that are currently have someone in place. There's not many of them around. There's 6 in Nassau County. I'm not sure. But one of them, I know that they've written for, so I'm sure she's using that as the driving template, and then she'll customize it. I'm not sure what the process is, but for the board's purposes, to make it simple, is whoever that person is on an annual basis that would be elected by the students to represent the students would be that person that would be there. And should there be they default on their responsibilities, they would no longer be that person. It would be the person that's in that role or that capacity as voted on by the students themselves to represent them. I hope that answers the question, Mr. Morrissey.
I-
I want to be sure I'm answering it.
What I think we can do is, policy committee will bring back whatever the basic ideas we're trying to do, and then let the.
They'll frame it. Ms. Maggi?
I understand it's now a requirement, but does it have to be a board policy?
According to the policy meeting we had, yes, it does. That the law actually says, and this is what Chit said, and sometimes, this is all the.
I don't know if this was right. I'm just telling you, I read it quick, so I'll
what
go
Marion had said was the law was, when it was included in the budget, the requirement is for schools to now have a policy to have, and I get the word wrong, ex
officio is the actual title. Ex
Member,
officio student,
they don't
non-voting.
prescribe how to get there, but they do require a policy to have. That's what she had told us.
It's going to be in our board members' qualifications policy. So what distinguishes us as potential board member candidates, it will also distinguish
We
its
can
ex
carve
officio.
what that looks like. We could decide whether we select or it's up to us to decide.
Absolutely.
So I had said within our policy, I think it should be the best representative of the student body. Who's going to really be able to put their feelers out to see what the kids really want. But that's coming from an educational standpoint. I don't know how anybody else. feels.
I felt very differently, but after hearing your thoughts, I'm comfortable with being I guess I would say current student body president, senior president, senior vice president.
Originally, I was thinking that majority vote of the board, right? So there's some good things that come out of that. That we'll give that, so there'll be an application process, and we'll give students an opportunity to interview with us.
Yeah, actually, no, actually, it would be the president, which is elected by the students.
No, this is the way
You were thinking
it's
of.
one of the five different, one of the five options. You know,
I'm sorry, I'm not being clear.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, so I apologize. What I was sharing was that what the principal was recommending was not it is one of the 5 options inside of the deck at this point in time for possibilities.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is I convinced you to think differently, and now I changed.
Okay, yeah, you did. If I was, yeah, I'm on my third different.
Where you started.
Yeah, okay. All right, now I'm stuck on that other thought now, where it would give the kid real world experience of interviewing, and, I was even gonna say we can add letters of recommendation from fellow students. So we could read that to say, why is this student the best student to the board, and we would have an interview process with them, and I think that's great real world experience for them to be in that type of situation. It's kind of in a few years down the road, they're gonna be in a job interview and they ask questions. Also, I think we're kind of a neutral voice to pick somebody, so I think we would demonstrate leadership, maturity, and a genuine interest in this whole process. So we'd have to go through the application process. That's what I'm thinking at this point, but maybe someone else.
Anybody else have thoughts?
Yeah.
I think that the rules should be distinct and that we should have a dedicated election just for the student trustee, separate from.
That was one of the options too.
I think that they require different skill sets and there could be individuals who may not.
Mr. Morrison, you saying I shouldn't just be the student body president or the senior president? That's what you're saying?
I think one of the things I would be concerned with having a separate election, and even with, Pascarella laid it out, that all has to get managed by somebody, and really, the high school should be teaching the kids, not managing another thing on top of 4 billion other things, so, I don't know, just a thought.
Mr. Pascarella has given us some thought, maybe you could manage the process.
Me? Enough going on.
So, we spoke, but we still have a few more members if they weigh in, we could stop the forum. Yeah, please.
I would like to take principal's recommendation, as she knows the history, your 2-year history, but the history of how it works at the high school. That would be what I would support.
Which is what I get the senior president. Is it?
I would just say, I think I don't want to overthink this, and I'm gonna go with, this is my base point. Agree with recommendations by Mr. Same.
We'll bring it back to Alderman Smith in the next policy meeting. I'm sure Dr. Salino will speak to her as well.
Yes.
Just be clear, it's gonna be a junior, I guess a junior is gonna be a senior, right? And that's the class president, senior.
It also allows us to.
This is doing so.
All right.
Thank you for the direction.
That will begin in September, everyone. September. They're not active until September.
Okay.
The policy can go in effect at any time you want, but the students will. Principal Iowa, you just want to explain it, please?
Sure, so they finished their councils this year and then at the, towards the end of August, they meet their first council meeting for the year and they do their elections. So up from here. So they all put into the council already, they do the grander elections, the 10 members are selected and then August they meet.
Once we get the 1-year cycle down, you'll always have the same process in place in order to get that person. Should the board choose not to change the policy and keep it as is.
So the class, just so we can reiterate this to the lawyers, the class president isn't selected in June, it's in.
The week before school.
August.
Yeah, so they have their council selected for the end of the year, but then the council meets in August to select their members, the rules.
That person will join us in the first meeting in September. And that's the pattern we'll be in for now.
Oh, for the next summer, yeah.
And they'll be made aware that if this is it, that
That's what I was
that's part of
thinking.
the rule.
And the person graduates, we get another person 2 months later.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal Iowa, for staying tonight. Go home, please. Thank you.
Moving on to old business, portrait of a graduate follow-up discussion. I think this is Mr. Garcia that raised this.
Yeah, I feel like I've been talking a lot about the committees with you, Mr. Favory, so I figured let me throw this out there and see where we land on it and I can get along. I'm not sure of many places you would use a lottery to hire someone. Certainly here in Plain Edge, we would never throw a bunch of qualified resumes in a lottery and then that's your new hire for a teacher, right? They go through an interview process, they're chosen based on their unique qualifications. So when it comes to this committee, I would like to follow a more typical process for anything. It is a board committee. Committees allow the board, it increases our capacity, right? Instead of just being group of 7, you now have a larger group, representatives from really all different parts of the district. And having the people who wish to serve on the committee apply to the committee and then go through, at the very least, a pre-selection process before they're entered into the lottery, making sure they have the time, making sure they'll make the commitment, because these committees only work if the people come. And we've had some committees that went awesome, and we have other committees where it's been a little bit more of a struggle. So to make sure we have that continuity on the committee with people who are going to show up and do the work, I would like to at least have a pre-selection process if we don't actually just choose the people. And an example that I just can't get out of my head is we're going to have 2 business owners or 2 businesses representing on this committee. That could be my mom who bakes cupcakes and is a registered business. Is that really the type, no offense, Mom, is that really the type of experience we're looking for in that spot? No, we're looking for people who understand what it is to interview, hopefully young people, and hire them and have them join a company and see what works and what doesn't work. So I think I've explained it well enough at this point that I would like to, if not fully choose the people based on their their application, at least have a pre-selection process before they're chosen to the lottery. And I understand the counterpoint to that is you might not be choosing people you don't know and it becomes too familiar. My argument to that, if I could get ahead of it, is, well, yeah, but it's still better and more representative of the district than if the 7 of us are always making the decision. So it's already casting a wider net. Number 2, I would expect us to not do that, not to just choose people you know, and really review the actual application from the community. So that's my point.
If I could comment. As I shared before, it's not a mandated or required committee of the board. I staged it so that it would be an advisory committee to the board. So it's not required. So we need to talk a little bit about that for a minute, in the sense of that getting people to function on committees is hard. Everyone's very busy. Everyone has busy lives. One of the introduction of the lottery came about because we were looking to get a cross section of people that expressed independently of, being asked, or people that to get a cross section, and we kind of like divvied that up. I did have a discussion with the board president and vice president. They were like, I think you need to do a more extensive job on the application in order to get to people's why. Why are you looking to service? Why are you looking to participate in this? And then at that point in time, if they don't fill out anything that seems to be valid, then they wouldn't be introduced into the lottery process. So I think, 2 things. Listen, I don't want to minimize anyone in the community ever. I want to provide an opportunity. I believe that this process is still so new for us that we need to have an opportunity to try to refine it to see if it can work. And then we also need that parameters in place and expectations should a person not fulfill that role. But specifically for that committee, you're talking about, if all parents involved, you're talking about, I think it was, how many people? 14 people?
So it was about 12 parents.
12 or 14 parents. So I believe that the distribution was good. I do believe that the lottery process needs to be refined, for sure, if we choose to continue to use it at all. It's not a requirement to do that. And no, it's not typical, but we were trying to introduce this randomness and this opportunity for all. And we sent out a community to the community, which were to all the parents of the community. But ultimately, in the end, as you get more and more committees, you'll find that there's going to be this culling process where people that say they're going to function don't function, and they need to be replaced. And there needs to be tight parameters about what replacement is. One of the questions that we don't ask, and we haven't prepared, if the board chooses us to go down this road, we will develop. We haven't really created a survey, I think, which is reflective of giving us information to feel confident and say, Ed, these people really belong here. They really want to be in this lottery. And the lottery puts the randomness back into it, but they do need to validate why. Why do I want an answer to the question? So I need a little time to do that. And I think we have a little bit of time, and I'm going to have Dr. DiPaola speak for a minute about recent changes that are coming out from the state. But for right now, if the board would allow us, perhaps before making a decision about process specifically related to this, that we look to develop a better initial, somebody has to say, can we see the survey? The survey is no different than are you interested or not? You know what I mean? And, such things as estimated dates for next year. Are you available on these dates? Let's be fair to the person. What is your general interest in this position? And you say you're representing a parent. Why are you the best candidate for this position? All right. And if it doesn't seem like it's relevant to the topic, right, or they choose not to fill it out at all, which happens many times with text entries, then I believe that it would be not a person that we would highly consider, and we would not include them. But I think the process can be refined so that we can use it for future ones. And we're not in any rush right now because they're about to release changes in July again about, and they just announced it at the NADCO meeting, which I'll let Dr. DiPaola talk about, even though I stole the thunder. But just thoughts about, before we get to that, I think we should talk about what I've shared, the process itself, as far as trying to improve it. We have to improve it, right? Because we already agree that just expressing interest in it, yeah, I want to be on the committee, is not cutting it for us. And we want there to be more validation for the positions themselves to be considered. But that's something I would throw out there.
So as Dr. Selena had mentioned, that it isn't a requirement to have a Board of Education Advisory Committee on this topic. We chose to go that route to have the input. Everyone had expressed interest in having different committees, so this was an opportunity to do that. Now, going to what Dr. Selena references, NADCO is actually an assistant superintendent for curriculum instruction organization that is coordinated through Nassau BOCES. So we go for monthly updates. Every month is usually some agenda item of portrait of the graduate. So this past month, we were informed by BOCES because they are in constant contact with the state representative for it, that they are actually going to be making changes to some of the framework that we had presented. So we had said that there were different competencies that they have outlaid. They kind of gave them a little tidbit that some of them might be changing. So they're adopting the new changes in July. So some districts have just said, all right, we're pausing completely right now. Some have not started. I also want the board to know that during those conversations too, we've talked about how they're going about Portrait of the Graduate. Some have actually, because as Dr. Selena mentioned, committee time for people outside of the school day, they've actually gone away from that for this, and they're just using pure thought exchange. We were going to be using that as part of our process to get more community input, but now that more and more districts are seeing the benefits of thought exchange, they're going to that. Others have also expressed that they have just used the executive councils of their PTAs because they are elected by the parent, the PTAs. So those are different models that I just wanted, to put out there. Those are conversations across Nassau County that we're all having with each other. And because the state just said, some people have been working on this and now they have to go back to the drawing board for some of these things. So I'm happy to say we don't have to redo anything, and that if we wait till the summer and let everyone kind of digest what the state puts out, and hopefully they do put it out in July, then we can, start up in September and really know what direction they are going in for us to go in. That would be my recommendation on that.
So there's a couple things out there. The first is obviously the process itself. And then the second is that, timelines for gathering is, as you know, we are, closing out, the next 40 days. But that's really to be discussed by the board at this point in time. Happy to do whatever the board decides ultimately, but it's an ongoing discussion. Perhaps maybe I could suggest we bring back the original proposals that we had and as far as and then talk about process. And if we were to develop a more refined lottery with, obviously any suggestions you have, what should be included inside of them, we would gladly look at. And then the board could kind of just consider if that's going to meet their needs as far as this advisory committee, while we wait for them the state to continue to refine. But that's up for discussion.
I think it is it's more process than anything else. The committee, from where it first started to where it got to today and where it will go in July, certainly has been refined along the way. I appreciate seeing those changes and seeing an understanding of, I think, what the conversations at the board table have been. So this isn't me saying anything is wrong or has been done wrong. I think we have to consider the process. It sounds like that's already underway, and I think I'm more than comfortable just waiting to see what you guys come back with. So.
If the board approves of it, it makes that it increases the information shared by the individuals that like to serve, then those people will be entered in randomly and we'll go from there. But I want you to see it first. You got to give us a little time to develop it. But it was a suggestion that Mr. Beirudi and Mr. Morrissey made about, there wasn't enough information inside of this for the community to really express, why, and are they available? So we need to do our homework to create a better survey with more information being requested of those individuals that choose to fill it out, as opposed to just simply, yes, I'm available.
So, to your point, if you're gonna spend all this time and energy, you don't want to practice, you want to make sure it's going to be the most successful. It's not worth your time and effort if you don't find out, are you going to make every meeting and, and their qualifications, I feel are very important and their intentions are too. So I think taking your time at this point is the right way to go, just so that we can be as successful as possible always.
But ultimately, the board will see in advance what this survey is, this new survey, that will solicit interest from those individuals in the community that are interested in participating. We can do a better job, and we will. We've heard the board, and obviously we want those people that want to be involved in this process to help us define the portrait of a graduate. It is a requirement according to New York State Education Department to be involved in this process. How you do it's kind of up to you. There are some requirements, but at the same time, I think we have a good framework to start off. And there's a lot of work to be done. This is going to be an ongoing process, by the way. You want people that are going to be committed, not just for 1 year, you want multiple years, because this is a process. So we'll have to take a look at schedules, et cetera, and we'll kind of put something together for the board for next month to take a look at, if that's okay. And then we'll kind of go from there. But the board has to make that, and give me direction.
The one thing I would like to say, Dr. Selena, it's not that you mentioned we can do a better job. I don't think it's anything to do with the quality of the work you're doing. It's just as we've evolved from the beginning of the term to now, I think I saw some trends that I think I think we're talking some pretty small refinements, frankly, and I'm excited to see it.
Okay.
Thank you. Moving on to informational reports. Are there any questions on them?
There was a question from Mr. Pascarella.
Yeah, question about your planning report for March. Something that's kind of stood out to me. With addresses, I guess, they have to verify addresses, and it seemed, a large amount, about 18 times this year. I'm just curious, what does that really mean, I guess?
I was looking at that more detail tomorrow. I would imagine that the address in the system didn't match the invoice. And I'll see what the resolution was on it.
Like 18 times, like, pretty usually, pretty.
I'll get you an answer tomorrow.
So much, appreciate it.
Any other questions? All right. Moving on to opportunity for public comment. All comments are directed to the Board of Education President. We ask that each speaker limit their time to 2 minutes in total. We ask that you use the microphone and clearly state your name.
All right.
Good evening. Very, all right. Very Fuchs, President, Planning Federation of Teachers. Good evening, everyone. It is late. I'll keep the remarks as brief as I can. First off, I want to thank the Board of Education for our beautiful tenure ceremony tonight. What we do here is very unique. I have the privilege of talking to a lot of other district leaders. And in a lot of other school districts, they simply just mention the person's name, stand up, thanks, great. We really go out of our way to recognize the hard work of all these educators. And it makes Plainedge a very special place, which kind of lends itself to my next remark. Plainedge is very unique. It's a place where union leadership, the Board of Ed leadership, and the administrative leadership work very closely together. I mean, I can speak to things even on the agenda tonight, like the MOAs for the cheerleading coach and the golf. There are other union leaders who won't entertain MOAs during an intercontractual period. So they'll only entertain it when the contract is up because they want to use it as a point of leverage, right? That's not how we operate here. We operate in the best interest for the kids and of course for the teachers. But usually if it's good for kids, it's good for teachers too. And it makes it very special. We don't wait, because our contract's not for 4 years, right? So the kids will benefit from these positions, and the collaboration between all, this is how things get done for kids. Right? When we all work together, all the adults figure it out, the kids benefit from that. So it's really important that we always keep that in the back of our mind. If something that might be totally mindless, like an approval of an MOA, things like that make Plainage special. Another thing that makes Plainage special is we make a difference award. So I want to invite all of the Board of Ed tomorrow. We have a big award ceremony. We are literally the only union on Long Island that hosts an award ceremony of this capacity where it's totally organized by the teachers. No other entity is involved in organizing this. And there was actually one other union on Long Island. I was actually texting the former president as we were sitting here, just to make sure I had the story right. Our ceremony was actually based on a ceremony that Patrick Medford used to do. It lasted for about 5 years, and then, as some things do, they couldn't sustain it. They didn't have the energy, they didn't have the enthusiasm, they didn't have the want. Tomorrow night is our 26th annual We Make a Difference award ceremony. The amount of effort and time and money that goes into organizing and running that event for the kids is enormous. But it's something that's important and again speaks to the culture of our community, which is a very positive culture. I really hope that continues because we do great things here. The Wizards event tonight, our union gave the PTA over $5,000 that we gladly split with them. We also have the Adventureland fundraiser coming up June 9th, where in collaboration with the PTA, we host a night at Adventureland just for the community. So everyone on June 9th will be connected to Plainage somehow. So I want to invite the board and invite the administration and of course all the community to come out and support our scholarship funds. There's the Wizard event and the Adventureland event. The money raised goes to college scholarships that are provided both by our union and the PTA. So lots of great things going on in Plainage. Again, thank you to the Board of Ed for the wonderful ceremony tonight, and that concludes my remarks.
So I wasn't gonna speak, but you know what, I think might as well just do it.
Mike Cussman. It's really just talking about, it's great to see we were able to get a budget for tax levy. Again, you're such a small district where we depend so much on residential house tax. People don't believe it, but it's true. And the fact that we are able to continue to do this year after year after year really goes to brilliance of Barrazo, Dr. Salina. Well, listen, I couldn't figure this out, right?
Don't build them up too much.
The board over the past many years, it doesn't happen. And you know what? And I would have, this is about a month or so ago since it happened, but look at Farmingdale, look at Plainview. What do they have to do? They have to go and put bond amendments to the vote, and we don't do that because we're planning properly over the course of years to make sure that when things come up like this, and over the past 5 or 6 years since we've been adding these the things to, you know, with all the facilities upgrades and everything, with the field, with the air conditioning, we had the money to do it. We didn't have to go to the town to say, hey, listen, we want to spend about $500, $600 a year over the next 10 years per bond, per household. We have the money because we're planning properly. So kudos to you, kudos to the board. Hopefully the board continues to think along those lines because it's very important. We don't have the commercial base
that we can supplement anything. Right, we don't have it. Yeah, we don't have Stop and Shop. We don't have that shopping center. We certainly don't have across the street, we don't have the TD Bank and the Five Below, that's Seaford. You would think that's us, but it's not. And so we really proper thinking that's over the course of the past 10, 15 years that we've been doing this. It's beneficial to the town, it's beneficial to students, because they're ones who are benefiting from all this that's going on. And I'm tired, hungry, and I should be watching Vegas Matt on YouTube right now, but you know what? I am here and go out and vote, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Anyone else? Okay, yeah, motion to adjourn. Mr. Morrissey, second. Mr. Paris, all in favor?
All in favor, motion carried.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.